Remember him! One-handed catch! Oh, he's got it!
Boys and girls, welcome to the cockpit. The New York Jets are going to have a brand new all-pro left tackle. Oh, Bryce Huff chomping at the bit. The New York Jets expected to sign left tackle Tyron Smith of the Dallas Cowboys to protect Aaron Rodgers' blindside. Boys and girls, hit those milk thumbs as you enter the stream. Let's go. New York Jets also having Mike Williams in for a visit. Don't want to miss that. But holy hell, let's go. New York Jets getting a tackle. This coming by way of Ian Rappaport. Sources, the New York Jets are expected to sign former Cowboys All-Pro and Pro Bowl left tackle Tyron Smith to a new to be the new blindside protector for Aaron Rodgers. Now, I did see some comments from, I believe it was Josina Anderson, was it? Yes. Free agent Tyron Smith to her on the phone why he picked the Jets while trying to put his daughter to sleep. I would love to have stayed home in Dallas, but as we all know, it's a business the way it works. I still feel like the Jets have an opportunity to win it, and anything I can do for the team to help them out, I'm going to do my best. While Smith told me that he has not spoken with Aaron Rodgers yet, he has said about playing with the Jets quarterback one, I feel it's going to be amazing. Of course, me being with Dallas, he's kicked our butts twice in the playoffs, so I know what he's capable of. Honestly, I'm just excited about the opportunity. He goes on to say, Tyron Smith also told me that the deal to come to New York really ramped up tonight. Honestly, this has just been happening the last couple of hours, so I'm trying to handle things right now. As for not returning to the Cowboys, I was told this. I figured to be the case once cap issues became clear in Dallas by league source. Smith added, it's kind of like where the chips have fallen for this offseason, but Smith reiterated he's excited to be a Jet and protect Aaron Rodgers. Now, let's go! Let's freaking go! That's what I'm talking about. Boys and girls, the New York Jets have a left tackle. He's missed a few games. He's had the back injury a little bit. I think this doesn't necessarily eliminate the chances of going for a tackle early in the draft, but it certainly puts tight end and wide receiver up front and focused for the New York Jets because you have two guys that were steady starters on either side with Morgan Moses on the right, Tyron Smith on the left. The Jets have their starting offensive line right now, and I'm psyched on this. Crossfire comes in, says, let's fucking go. We have an offensive line. How long has it been? Les Sauce said there is a wide receiver coming next week. Let's go. J-E-T-S. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Come on. Antonio comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Antonio. Says, with all the cap space that's getting freed up, could we be cooking up a trade for a wide receiver 1B/2 next to Garrett? Just an example. Diggs is looking real lonely. Also now, trade back from 10, get Thomas Jr. in the teens, and O-line in the second. So I love the idea of trading down. I'm a big fan of trading down. I really like Brian Thomas Jr. Had his height wrong. Thought he was 6'5". He's 6'3". Very, very excited for this wide receiver class. If Odunze falls to you at 10, take that. I love the idea of sliding down, getting that second round pick though, and adding maybe a developmental tackle that we can add behind a Morgan Moses or a Tyron Smith. Now, the great thing about both these players right now, Carter Warren, Max Mitchell, are squarely in position to continue to improve behind all-pro vets and be able to take their places next year. If they perform, you perform up to snuff, you're the new starter. We don't have to re-sign these guys. Now, I haven't seen what the contract is for Tyron Smith yet, but I imagine it's going to be a pretty penny top tackle in the free agent market. Joe Douglas hitting a home run right here. I love the idea of trading down. As far as Diggs, I don't think Buffalo's going to trade him to us. So I'll say that much. And Antonio joins the first-class membership on the tier as well. Thank you, dude. Thank you for joining the membership tier and supporting the channel. If you want to drop some JETS in the chat for our newest member, Antonio, thank you. Thank you. Mike D's Nuts says this is a huge deal. Best player available now in the draft. That's right, baby. Joe Douglas loves plugging holes in free agency and then fill in the draft with best player available. Even if it's an edge rusher. If we take Dallas Turner, I'm going to lose my marbles. My gosh darn bananas, as Boyd Green would say. Moose City drops in with a let's fucking go. Main catch comes in. Jets, Jets. Boys and girls, I gotta bellow myself out. Product placement. Crescent Canna. Link in the description down below if you want to get yourself a can. Let's go. Blitz crew coming in. We know our starting offensive line. Get some young rooks to develop behind these guys. With this line, players are going to line up. Join us. Milk Thumbs. Where's my Milk Thumbs button? Milk Thumbs. Ooh, there we go. Antonio, give me the contract. 1 year, up to $20 million with incentives. Totally fine. I said that with 𝐁𝐼𝐸 as well. You want to sign these guys? They're going to cost you a pretty penny. Give it incentive-laden contract. Say, hey, you play every game, you get paid like the elite tackle you are. Tyron Smith is a top 5 tackle in this game. I love it. Charles comes in. Ryan, my man, let's fucking go. We got ourselves a beast left tackle. We got ourselves like the 2 best tackles you could possibly ask to come out of free agency with. You got Tyron Smith, and then you sneak by and get a $5.5 million Morgan Moses. Oh, Douglas, I could kiss you right on the lips. Man, I'm excited. Let's go. Michael says, okay, Brian Thomas Jr. is better than Odunze. Everyone stop saying Odunze at 10. All my sources have said that Brian Thomas Jr. is going top 12. I love me some Brian Thomas Jr. So if you have to sit at 10 and make that selection, I feel like the speed, 4'3", 340, 6'3" frame. What do you have? 17 touchdowns last year? Guy's an absolute freak show on the field. Love it. Oh man, I'm like sweating. Oh, gotta crank the fan. Let's go. Boba Jet comes in, says, Mike Williams meeting with the Jets on Monday. Tyron Smith on board. Let's effing go. Yeah, I have one other slide as well. So I guess I'll throw that up on the screen. Per source, Sheena Quick, Mike Williams will meet with the Panthers on Tuesday. He meets with the Jets on Monday. So that means the Jets are meeting with him first, before the Panthers. Don't let him leave the building. Sign him. I want every player. I don't care. Cap space, be damned. Doesn't matter to me anymore. But let's celebrate Tyron Smith. I'm excited for Mike Williams. We'll celebrate Tyron Smith, though. Nick, what's up, dude? Mike Williams is in on Monday. Let's fucking go. Mike D's Nuts. No wife this weekend and a good signing. I'm fucking excited. Let's go. Mike's going to be playing video games, drinking beer, and going on not so friendly sites. The wife is not home. Let's go. J-Man. David 𝐁𝐼𝐸 is left tackle 2. Mike Williams, wide receiver 2. Bowers at 10. One-time football gods. Could you imagine if 𝐁𝐼𝐸 ends up coming in and is just our backup left tackle? Like, it's like, hey, we know you can't pass a physical right now, but God forbid Tyron Smith goes down, we'll pay you for however many games you can start. That would be insane. That would be nuts. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to say no just because if he doesn't sign until summer anyway, and no one wants to give him a big contract, he may just want to play here. I would think he'd want to start, though. That would be filthy. Moot Files comes in with a super chat. Says, I got Rock With You playing by MJ. Ooh. Sorry, burp. Oh, it's so disgusting on a microphone. My bad. It's okay. I don't care. Causes IROC with the signing. Let's fucking go. The wall is built, boys. Open plays for the 10 pick and get Mike Williams Super Bowl, baby. Dude, if you have Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, AVT, I want to bring back McGovern as depth. I'd still draft a tackle and a center relatively high, or a tackle and a guard relatively high, because you want to have them develop maybe alongside Simpson, push him a little bit. I want to see a left tackle or a right tackle. Like, as much as I want Warren and Mitchell to develop, I do think bringing in like a second round offensive tackle for competition is probably not a bad option either. And I want a receiver in the draft too. Oh, I just want it off. I want it all. I don't know. I'm pumped. I'm delusional right now. It's great. Call. Sorry, my eyes are blind. I should probably make this window bigger. Everyone crying, saying JD is asleep at the wheel. JD fell asleep and drove right off the edge of a cliff into a pile of balloon animals and amazingness and fun and silly string and just fucking awesome. We got a left tackle. Try to get to us now. J-Mets, Bowers and Jet, Lord have mercy. I'm about to bust. Oh! Could you imagine the weapons on this team? Oh! Oh, this is great. This is awesome. Red John, we'll never get Brian Thomas Jr. in the teens, Ryan. So I guess we got to stay. You want to stay at 10? Stay at 10 and take him? That's fine too. I think taking the best available weapon at 10 is the way to go. No matter who it is, who you slice it. If you wanted Bowers, if you wanted 𝐂𝐿𝐿, if you wanted Brian Thomas Jr., no issues. Nick says, Brees about to go crazy. JD stays on the night shift. Let's fucking go. I'm so hyped. Dude, this is incredible. Incredible. Friggin' Brees Hall is going to have 2,000 yards all damn day. It's funny. I just threw money on him to be Offensive Player of the Year. It was like plus 3,500. Easy money. Damn it, I might put him as MVP. That's what it feels like. Blitz Crew! Dropping in with a super chat says, someone tell Hackett now that these guys can block. Yeah, we're going to put Tyron Smith out wide right now. I didn't know this dude could block. Oh, Hackett. Hackett. Kevin says Green Bean was bashing JD in his latest video. Hey, that's all right. Look, JD has deserved it. We've seen so many wide receivers go everywhere else. Until this signing, it was like fair game. Fair game. Totally fair game. William says, with this signing, if the skill position guys are gone, Jets can definitely trade back for more picks and still get solid developmental tackle later in the first. Gets me hyped. Very much want to trade down. Now, I don't know how realistic it is to get a trade down at 10 with the Chargers probably trading out at 5 or the Cardinals trading out at 4. Because if 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10, I don't know if you can convince another team to come up for a 5th quarterback in the top 10. I'm not sure you could do that. Although if the Chargers trade back with like the Vikings, and then all of a sudden like the Broncos and the Broncos and the Raiders are sitting there, we could be like, hey, yo, come in front of the Chargers and, get your franchise quarterback. Bo Nix or Michael Penix. We'll see. Mike D's nuts, pretty much set at O-line right now. Let's go now. Bowers or 𝐂𝐿𝐿 at number 10. I am full train ahead weapon at 10. I want weapon. Look at how much these guys are getting paid. Darnell Mooney got $13 million. Calvin Ridley, $23 million? Insane. I'm not paying him $23 million. That's Looney Tunes. Get a better receiver in the draft. Get him for 5 years. Pay him half that. That's the move. Kaloy, if JD signed Tyron for 1 year, does that mean OBJ or Mike Williams could also sign for 1 year? So Tyrod was signed for 2 years. Oh, you're saying Tyron. Yes, Tyron signed for 1 year. Does that mean OBJ or Mike Williams will sign for 1 year? Yes, I do think that's probably true. I think a lot of our decisions are going to be made within a 2-year window. And if a player is deemed good enough to be 2 years, like I think Tyron signs for 1 year and then maybe an additional year if Warren doesn't work out. If Warren develops, then you just let Tyron walk. And then if he signs somewhere else, fucking great. You get a comp pick. If not, then oh well, you still have Carter Warren. I would say with wide receiver, you're going to have Lazard gone next year. And you don't have anyone else under contract other than like, I guess, Brownlee, Gibson, and Garrett. So you could see, I would think Mike Williams would sign more of a prove-it deal than a 2-year deal. OBJ, I would think, is going to be year to year, would be my guess. Michael comes in, says, sign Tyler Boyd, Mike White off an ACL, no draft Brian Thomas Jr. at 10. I really like Boyd. I'm still convinced that Boyd is going to go to the Steelers, though. I'm like 95% sure that's where I would go if I were him. Go back home to family, Gonna have a good team with Russell Wilson there. Mike Tomlin he likes. I like it. And I want Brian Thomas Jr. at 10, so I'm there. I understand. I get the concern with the ACL. Matthew comes in, says, then Clowney coming into us. Week is going to go, going nuts at work. Could you, like, I'm sitting there at home last night, and I'm like, Jatavian Clowney's visiting the Jets next week, and we just signed Solomon Thomas and Kinlaw and fucking Leaky Faucet or whatever the fuck his name is over in Arizona. Like, that guy comes in. I mean, all of a sudden, you've got, like, a ton of investments on the defensive line. And I am, like, not about that whatsoever. I am not on board with, like, however much we're spending on the defensive line. But now that we've got our tackle, now we just need wide receiver. And now I'm not, like, as, upset. I get over it. Kyron says, when has a tight end ever worked out? He says, Brian Thomas Jr. So tight end up high usually doesn't work out. And that's a failure to evaluate. I've been saying this. Failure to evaluate with the tight end. Because I would argue Laporta, Kelce, Kittle, and Mark Andrews would all be very much worthy of a top 10 pick if you knew what they would become. And I think that evaluation process is what's wrong. So if you know you're going to hit on the Bowers thing, then go Bowers. And I understand having elite weapon at tight end, elite weapon at wide receiver, elite weapon at running back. Now you have 3 tiers of offensive weapons. So that's kind of where the Bowers thing comes in. And he's going to get open quickly around the line of scrimmage. So I think that's also very attractive. As far as going with a wide receiver or something along those routes, the cost difference is going to be wildly different. In order to get someone as talented as a Brian Thomas Jr. or as an Odunze or someone like that, you're paying $25 million a year. That's what you're going to have to pay to get that kind of guy. But you're going to get him in the draft for 5 years on a cheap contract. So financially, if you're going to pay a tight end, who knows? What are we paying Conklin right now? $7 million, $8 million? If you're paying Conklin $8 million, are you really going to pass up the value of a $25 million contract of receiver when you can have, like Conklin is good, with Ruckert is good, and if you can give me something that's going to provide way more value, which would be the wide receiver, then I'm on board. I just would not be upset with Bowers if we went that route either. John coming in, watching the portrait stream. If you guys are over on the vertical stream and you want to come over to the landscape side of the stream, there is a pinned comment in the chat if you want to see it horizontal. We do have that. But if you want to see it in the portrait style, that's fine too. He says, if Rodgers becomes VP, don't we get an O-line of Secret Service members? We should have that. That's what should happen. It should be like, hey, we've got our 5 offensive linemen, and we've got just an additional set of 5 Secret Service guards. Like I'm talking like SWAT shields and like full fucking like riot gear. That's what I want to see. Protect the quarterback at all costs. Get down, Mr. President. We've got AP. AP in the house says, holy shit, we rebuilt our offensive line with 3 starters for $30 million. That's what's insane. And that's $30 million max. If it's a $20 million contract with incentives, or is it $20 million total? Is it 20? Someone's got to tell me. Is it $20 million? It's $10 million up to 20 with incentives. I think that's what I saw, right? Is that what we were talking about earlier? See, I'm losing my damn mind now. I think I had it in here. 1 year up to 20 million with incentives. So it depends what he's getting per year. Either way, if it's $20 million and we had Morgan Moses $5.5 million and Simpson's getting paid, what, $7 million, $8 million, $9 million. 2 years, $18 million is what he got. We've got a fucking offensive line. Let's go. Sky C comes in. This is so awesome. Or this is awesome. This is awesome one news. Yes. This O-line feels better than past years. Big names now wanting to play for the Jets. Is it the Aaron Rodgers effect? So I feel like getting Tyron Smith, because like the little moves the Jets were making were very calculated and like they're check boxes, right? Like the Jets needed to have those types of moves where it's bring back the defensive tackles, get back your kicker, get back your punter. Nothing crazy, but things that you had to check off. And Joe Douglas behind the scenes is like, yeah, well, best left tackle in the game, or not in the game, best left tackle available to us for agency. Yeah, let's go do that. Oh, I don't like any of these tackles. The right-hand tackles. I don't want to pay them that much money. I'm going to go over and I'm going to trade dirt. I trade like a pile of dirt for Morgan Moses, and we're going to build an offensive line. Fuck yeah. Joe Douglas. I could kiss you, you big oof. Oof, lug. Oof, sorry. I'm just hyped up. Trying to calm myself down. Ah! Bad eyesight says, my favorite thing about this move is it's Keith Carter proof. Don't have to rely on him to coach up the offensive line. Right now, you just hope that Carter Warren sits behind Tyron Smith and just like osmoses his brain on like moves and how to like actually become a really good left tackle. I love having veterans on this team because we have so many young kids. So many young kids. Just having some extra vets on here just provides a little extra bit of like on-field coaching experience and how they handle themselves. Like Tyron Smith is a pro's pro. This guy is 100% going to come to work ready to win each and every week. I love it. I love it. Zachary says, we had a major issue stopping the run, so I guess he is trying to help there. Talking about the defensive tackles, Jets did have a big issue stopping the run, but I think a lot of that also does have to like kind of fall into the you don't have a passing game for the Jets, so we weren't actually like scoring points and causing teams to have to throw on us. They just ran to run out clock. That's what they had to deal with the whole time. So, it's great. Greg says, I want Bowers. Andrew Yako's 8 Pro Bowls. Any more in the tank? I hope so. I hope so. Darnell says we should absolutely give the 10th pick to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson. If you can get Justin Jefferson for the 10th pick, I don't know how you pay Justin Jefferson with all that. I guess you just say you figure it out. But like, could you imagine? I'd rather draft someone, I think, just because of the window that we may potentially have, as opposed to like a 1 year, like, boom. I don't know. We'll see. Caleb comes in, says, sign Mike Williams, draft Bowers, McConkey, or the Florida wide receiver, Purcell, in the 3rd, and maybe, depending on price, sign KJ Osborne as a wide receiver 3 or 4th. That is, so in this situation, I guess that would mean Lazard goes back to like 5 or 6. He may not even make the fucking roster if we do this. I love it. Bring in Bowers. McConkey's been awesome. He blew up the Senior Bowl, blew up his the Combine, his Pro Day. He's soaring up draft boards. I don't think he's going to be there in the 2nd. I think he's going to be a lot higher. He might go like tail end of the 1st, honestly. There's some rumblings of that. As far as the I like receiver in the 3rd round, though. If you can get me a Brendan Rice, something like that, I'd be stoked on that. Jay Smiley says, now we pray that wide receivers fall to us at number 10 or trade down. Yeah, I wonder if it's more than just the top 3 receivers. Like, a lot of people are kind of clumping in Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Odunze as the top 3, and that's like all you kind of get. And then you try to figure out, okay, well, what's the next rung of receivers? But then Brian Thomas Jr. runs a fucking 4.3 340 at the Combine, and everyone starts looking back at his tape, and they're like, okay, this guy's really freaking good, and he's got height. Like, let's maybe look that direction. So I'm curious to see how many weapons the Jets have on their list, and is there a chance? Like, Alt's going 7. I feel like Alt's definitely going 7. In my mock draft, I would say quarterbacks 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 5, with a Marvin Harrison Jr. going with that other pick. So either way, those 5 are gone. Then you have Malik Neighbors going 6 to the Giants. I think Joe Alt goes 8 or 7 to the Titans. Falcons go Dallas Turner or some defensive player, I think. Then you have the Bears. What do the Bears do? Do the Bears go defense? If the Bears go defense, you got Olu there if you wanted to, but I feel like weapon's the way to go. So you're going to have your choice of Bowers, maybe Odunze. What do we do? I don't know. Let's do a chat. We'll do a poll question. What player do you want? Who do you want at 10? So we're going to say Bowers, Odunze. We'll say Thomas Jr. And we'll say left tackle / right tackle. All right, so you guys can vote on the poll question. Threw that up in the chat if you guys want to vote on that. What position do you want the Jets to go at 10 right now? Excited to see where you guys land on this. Jets World comes in with a super chat. Says, you think Zach is traded or released? I mean, based on what every other quarterback is going for and how Zach's just kind of sitting around, I would imagine Justin Fields goes before Zach. I think Fields could end up in New England. So I think Zach may get released. Like, imagine they're like, yeah, sorry, we just we said we'd trade you, but no one wanted you, so we just decided to keep you. He sells his fucking house. It's just like, oh no. Nah, I think Zach ultimately gets released. Moose City, thank you for the 10 spot. Says, imagine how nasty our defense is going to be with actually getting off the field. This run game is about to be nasty. Breeze 2K, all-purpose yards loading. Give me a weapon at 10 or trade down. Had to take that in for a second. A weep. Give me a weapon at 10 or trade down. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you can get the trade down, there's still a lot of receivers that I would like. And I would still not be opposed to taking a tackle in a trade down situation. Like, let's say you move down to like 16 or something like that. And, the tackle just falls to you. Fuaga falls to you. Latham falls to you, whatever it is. And you're like, hey, Morgan Moses is on a 1-year deal. He's kind of getting up there in age. Okay. Like, I can live with that. But I feel like weapon, like, you get guys that can start right now. Like, ideally, Morgan Moses plays the entire fucking year. And if you draft a tackle in the top, 10 or top first round, you're hoping that tackle doesn't even have to play because Morgan Moses is playing. Or because Morgan Moses' contract is so cheap, maybe you just are like, hey, Morgan Moses sucks. Like, you started all those games last year, but you're a backup now. That would be kind of salty. But I'm very much on board the weapon train. Dewart says, like in The Godfather, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Let's fucking go. Jets. Let's go. Let's go. Mike D's nuts. Can't understate how excited I am for this. JD is doing his thing for us. Plug and play now. Let's get it. Draft is wide open. The draft is wide open. We are able to go any direction we want. We could trade down. We could trade up. I mean, if there's someone you really want, if they're like, hey, that guy is it, I can go get him. I want to trade down, though. I think there's going to be a lot of good players. With 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10, most likely, someone's falling to the Jets. Someone good at a non-quarterback position is going to fall to the Jets. Blitz Crew comes in. What's up, Blitz Crew? Says, Aaron Rodgers probably thinking he overdid the ayahuasca. Maybe they thought he was going to actually go for this VP thing, and they're like, oh, shit, we better get this offensive tackle right now, or we're not going to have a quarterback. We got Zach 4.0 in the background waiting, just like, oh, I guess I'm waiting for the president to go off to Washington. Aaron Rodgers, please just shoot down those rumors and just come back to football full time. Michael comes in with a super chat, says, everybody hyping Odunze in the poll. Name me the last stud wide receiver that was a Husky. I'll wait. Brian Thomas Jr. dominated the SEC's defenses, not a soft Pac-12. So Odunze was number 1 in contested catches and deep catches. And he definitely, look, contested catches, I understand if the defenses aren't quite as good. I feel like Odunze is different, though. And Garrett, when you look at how he likes players, Garrett went out and said, as soon as Odunze was declaring for the draft, he was just, I think it was prayer hands is what he put up. So if Garrett Wilson wants him, it's good enough for me. I like Odunze. I'm a big Odunze guy. New York native. Picture it, Ryan. Possible weapons lineup. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Odell Beckham Jr., Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin. Could you imagine if the Jets get Corey Davis back too? I'd be so happy. I want Corey Davis back. I want him to replace Lazard. Just fucking eat the dead cap hit from Lazard. I don't care. I'm done with this. Give me him. I would take Odell in the slot. Oh, give me all the weapons. Let's have the year we were supposed to have this year for this upcoming year. Give me that. I'll sign up for that every damn day. Every day. Uncle Elmer says the Jets have their starting line until they don't, and they just signed a guy who hasn't completed season in years with a 40-year-old quarterback. Trading down is unwise. Take a stud O at number 10. Are you talking stud O lineman or wide receiver? It feels like you're talking offensive lineman. Look, if that's the move they want to make, I understand. That means that tells me they don't have faith in Carter Warren. It tells me they don't have faith in Max Mitchell. It tells me they don't want to move AVT out of guard. and they feel good with their weapons. Like right now, I don't feel good with our weapons. And even if you give me a Mike Williams, I would feel still not great with our weapons, and I would rather have a weapon, if I'm being honest. Max says if Odunze, probably not Neighbors, is there at 6 or 7, we trade up. So Neighbors, I think, is going to get to pick 6, and I think the Giants are going to take him. I don't know if I think I like Brian Thomas Jr. enough as the 4th wide receiver. I can't see 4 wide receivers going in the top 10 that I would be okay just taking him there. I don't know if I really want to trade up. I said trade up, but like that's probably only for Alt if he were to like fall. If Alt falls to like 8, I'd be good for moving up. Matthew Miller says, not officially yet. I know, it could be imagine an Antonio Barr situation. No, don't do this to me. Tigo! It's good, guy. Jimmy says, I want Alt. Need a left tackle. Yes, this is also my Notre Dame bias. So if Alt's there, I still take Alt, I think. But I'm leaning weapon. I want weapon, because I think Alt will be gone. Bino, if they trade down, get a second, take Paul or Morgan in the second will be good. I do like a lot of the developmental tackles, and if you can trade down, still get the wide receiver, and then draft someone that could be the heir apparent, even if it's like a Cooper Beebe, and you want to have someone that can play guard and tackle, then it gives you that little bit of flexibility to say like, okay, Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith are both fine, but the Simpson character, maybe he didn't turn out quite so great. Now you have that opportunity to move him over as well. Rich Rise says, I still want offensive tackle early. We still need long-term pieces. And who better to learn behind than Tyron Smith? But let's go. Trade back all day. Best player available. Let's go. Team trade down and weapon. That's where I'm at right now. Joey says Brock Bowers is now a definite possibility. Right now, the chat is saying 36% Bowers, 31% Odunze, 11% Brian Thomas Jr., and 22% left tackle, right tackle. So a quarter of you, a little less than a quarter of you, are still on the offensive line train, even after what has happened so far. Famous J comes in and says, holla, Super Bowl now in play. Breeze 2K now in play. Go JD, Jets. Red John, if you look at both their highlights, there's no way Odunze over Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr., like, I feel like he burns people over the top. Like, when I'm watching, he's just, like, wide open. Like, it's almost, he almost makes it look like he's playing bad defenses, where, like, Odunze, I guess, could be facing worse competition and is having to make contested catches. But the fact that he's making the contested catches is still good. I don't know. I'm good with either one. So whichever one they deem is the pick, I like both those players a lot. A Stu says, New York Jets still need to draft offensive line for the future. I'd trade back, draft Fatanu, and not look back. So I would take baby Fatanu in Cooper Beebe in the second round over Fatanu in the first. I would take the top weapon that we could get instead. But I like where your head's at, because that's a positional flexibility one too. Zachary says, where is the DJ Reed re-signing? DJ Reed's already under contract, but I would like to see him restructure and align him with a 2-year contract. That would be great. Saving Souls says, what's happening with McDonald? Do you think that was a wasted pick? I think if you could go back in time, you probably take Anton Harrison and don't take McDonald, and you probably re-sign Bryce Huff. That would ultimately be the move, because you would have signed him for probably a lot less last year with all things, 2020. But Huff wanted to play more snaps, and maybe we tagged him because he didn't want to sign a contract. Maybe that was part of it, and then they had to take him. So I'm excited for Will McDonald. I think he's going to be a good player. I'm disappointed with the maybe the resource allocation side of it, but I'm not upset with the player himself. B2B says, Ryan, besides Bowers, are there any other worthy tight ends of a high pick? I don't think so in the first round. There's another kid. I think there's 2 in the second round. Do I have it pulled up? I don't know if I have it pulled up still. I don't. I'm not going to pull it up right now. Oh, wait, no, I do. Hold on. What are their names? Jatavian Sanders, Cade Stover are the next 2. Jatavian Sanders is the 40th ranked player on Pro Football Focus's big board compared to Bowers at 5, And then after 40, you drop down to 109, 140, 149. So really, there's like 3 in the top 100-ish. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State tight ends. Those would be the top ones on the board. Joseph, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I know this is a stretch, but now that Lazard is on the trading block, is there any possibility of trading him for a 2 to save us trading back at 10? There is no way in hell anyone's going to trade a 2 for Allen Lazard. I don't know if we could get like a 7th round pick for Allen Lazard. If we're trying to unload him and no one was interested, I don't know, dude. I mean, I would absolutely be on board with this, but there's no way that's going to happen. Bino, am I the only one worried about AVT? He hasn't finished the past 3 seasons, so BB in the second as insurance for AVT or Simpson isn't cutting it. Why wouldn't that be cutting it? What do you want to do? You'd rather use a 1st round pick for a backup? I think going 2nd round guard is very much in the right mindset. And then you bring back McGovern, and then you have McGovern play center in the event that a guard goes down, and then you move Tippmann out. I think that would be the play. Matt says, get Mike Williams or Tyler Boyd, then draft Brian Thomas Jr. or Bowers, and we all owe JD a damn apology because apparently he was so bad because he didn't do any of his moves in the first 2 days of free agency, right? It doesn't matter when he does them, as long as he actually like gets the stuff done. We all wanted Tyron Smith or a top offensive tackle. We got our fucking tackle. Let's go, JD. You're doing it the right way. Rich Rise says, right when I start to lose faith in Joe Douglas, I get slapped in the face with the realization that he's awesome despite losing. Bryce Huff, Joe is the man. So, look, with the way the Jets cap space is going right now, and with the way they attacked defensive tackle early on, they probably would not have been able to sign Tyron Smith if they had kept Bryce Huff around. But I do think they could have been able to tag and trade him. So I'm still a little salty on that. That's okay. Bonkerton says McDonald's going to ball out. Hype says taking calls tonight. We can take calls tonight. We could definitely take calls tonight. Let me just get through a few more comments and we'll rip through some calls. Hear what your thoughts are on this. We're going to go live for a while. Screw it. What do I got to do? Hey, Stu, trade back, get 2nd round pick, take Fatanu or Mims in the 1st. With the 2nd round pick, there will be wide receivers like Yak God, Malachi Corley, or 𝐂𝐻𝐸𝐷𝐤𝐸. With Corley, you have an offensive personnel like San Francisco 49ers. So I really like Leggett. I actually like both those guys a lot. So you could convince me to go wide receiver in the 2nd if you were to trade down. I just don't know if you're unable to trade down. Let's say that. If you're unable to trade down, what is your pick? Because I feel like for me it's going to be weapon at the top. I don't want to take a developmental guy in like the 1st round. Not particularly. All right. Let's do this. Let's take calls. I've already got a bunch of people calling in. Do I have... let's see. Is Nightbot still dropping the thing in there? All right. Let's do this. Nightbot, I'm going to pin this. Call-in number is going to be pinned to the top of the screen. You guys can call in. I'll get your thoughts. We'll keep this to, I don't know. Let's do the 3 minute. We'll do a 3-minute timer because I have that set up already. That just makes things easier. And then I just want to hear your thoughts. All right. We've got our buddy from the Talkin' Jets channel. Once I get over to the screen, Mr. Tigo.
That's it. There's nothing else that needs to be said. That's it.
You're ejected.
JD did it.
Dude, it feels good,
That's
right?
it.
Fucking got it. We got our tackle.
Finally, man. It's crazy. And here's the thing, though, is that it can keep getting better. And hopefully it will. But it can keep getting better because on Monday in the early morning, we have a visit with Jadeveon Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the afternoon, we have a visit with Mike Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I would not let either one of those guys leave the building. Don't
That
let him
would be
leave.
amazing. What do you think? What do you think the contract would be for 𝐿𝐺𝐸𝐿 Clowney? Is sitting somewhere around like 10 million, maybe, after the season he just had?
In and around that area. You have to remember that he is older and he can take his time, and if he's willing to wait, right, and say, I don't need to sign a contract, I'm gonna just do like a handshake with the New York Jets and wait till post June 1st kind of a thing, and like there are still moves that the New York Jets can make, and if there's one that comes up where we can designate it as a post June 1st to create that cap space for a guy like 𝐺𝐸𝐿 Clowney. Same thing with like a Mike Williams, because there's no rush for either one of those guys. There's not going to be any shortage of suitors, and so I am all in on going out and Mike Williams, 𝐺𝐸𝐿 Clowney, bring all of those guys in and let's just go on a run, man.
Just all the talent you could possibly get. Now, what's your plan? Tell the people, what do you want to do at 10?
Oh, trade back. I've been saying this for the longest time. Before Tyron Smith, before Morgan Moses, I've said I always thought that the plan should be to trade back out of 10. I think 10 should be for sale. And if you're going to stick and pick at 10, for me, it's always been a weapon. I've always been on the, I think weapons would go a lot farther to help this team win than an offensive tackle. And I get the whole, oh my God, offensive tackle, you need to fix the offensive line. I wasn't saying don't address the offensive line, but I always thought it was easier to find 2 guards and a tackle in free agency who knew Morgan Moses was going to be available than it would be to go and revamp an entire wide receiver room. Because if wide receivers can get open quickly, your offensive line doesn't need a pass block all that long.
Yeah, and that's kind of the argument, I think, for Bowers too, right?
That's been my take the whole time.
I was going to say, it's kind of the argument for Bowers, right? With like, he gets open near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that would be the whole thing. And quick. So like, again, he's quick. He can block in line. And so you'd be getting a weapon.
I'm very much on the weapon at number 10, if you have to. I mean, I like the idea of trading down, but if you can absolutely get a... oh, man, I have so many people calling in. My fucking internet is crying right now. Oh, geez. Okay.
Yep.
Let me see. I'm gonna end this one over here real quick because I got a little dual stream action going, and I think the stream for the vertical side of things is definitely like screaming right now. So anyone that was on the other side, they might be coming over. Had to turn that one off. All right. I think we're cooking with fire right now. All right, Tigo, any last words?
No, man, I'm excited. Things are going. I feel like Monday's going to be a big day.
Let's go. Let's go. Tigo, you've been ejected from the cockpit when my chicken goes across the screen, but it's screaming right now. Everything's moving so slow. Oh, there we go. Tigo's been ejected.
It'll go.
There you go. Here comes the chicken. Slowly but surely. That's what happens when I have a zillion people calling in. Because the internet's doing all the video feeds. So, guys, I'm going to... let's see if I could send you back into the green room. I'm going to remove some of you from the... So you are going to be... no, return to the green room. What am I doing? Sorry. Okay, I'm going to hit a few super chats real fast. Where was I? Mike D's Nuts says, McDonald can bulk up like JJ. I'll be happy. Joseph, I think I had your chat in already. Possibly 2 saving us back 10. And then Blitz Crew coming in says, this will bring buzz that we need to entertain quarterback at 10, if only to increase the value of getting ahead of us. If you want quarterback, McGovern and wide receiver next. Yeah, I want to bring back McGovern. And yeah, hey, look, I'm cool with hyping people up on quarterback. I just don't. I mean, I obviously don't want that to happen. That would be bad. All right, my stream is like crying right now. I'm gonna boot some people from the back here so I can keep the stream up and running right now. All right, let's go to Lassell. Lassel's gonna come in right now. Lassell, welcome to the cockpit.
Hello.
How you feeling?
Hello. You can give it a. I'm doing good. Sorry, I don't have a face cam. I don't have a face cam or anything. My face cam is broken, so now you're stuck with Madden,
It
Madden.
is all
So
good. It fits
my
the
first
bill.
thoughts of the pick. When I first started the pick, I love this. I mean, I love this signing. I don't know. Not a lot of people know this, but a lot of people on my Italian side are Cowboy fans,
Okay.
and so I knew about Tyron Smith. I knew about
Oh, of
Tyron
course.
Smith. I know that he's going to be a number one left tackle if healthy. If he's
Mhm.
healthy throughout most of the season, you have a left tackle that will defend that side. There's going to be no one that gets close to Aaron Rodgers on that side. So the fact that we got him is insane. Like it's really, really great. But again, it's all about if he does get healthy. Like I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it is what it is.
Well,
He's been unhealthy for 2 straight seasons, so it can't so it can't be like above the norm for me to be but he does get injured a lot, and he has been injured for like a long period of time now. But if he's healthy, we have a left tackle blindside right there. And then for the draft, I've been saying this in the AFC's roundtable multiple
mhm,
times. Trade back. I feel like it would be more benefit for us
mhm.
trading back in this draft than taking anybody with that top 10 pick.
I
I
agree.
feel
I
like it'd
think if
be
you can
more
slide back,
beneficial because
I think the hardest
we
thing for
could
us
get a
is just going to be
second or
finding someone to trade back with. Like that, like who are they coming up with? If everyone's getting so excited about the quarterbacks, they're jumping up like so high. I want like Penix's stock to just skyrocket now. Like, let's get a
yeah,
fifth
yeah,
quarterback up
yeah.
there. Come on.
No. Like again, like top 10, like 10th overall picks, like trades happen, and it doesn't have to be a quarterback. But I'm just saying it'd be more beneficial for us to do it because I understand the hype for Brock Bowers and stuff like that,
Mhm.
but we
The
have
extra
more
player.
death problems. We have more
Sure.
death problems right now than going for a a great tight end. But like we have good tight ends, even a good tight end prospect right now in
Mhm.
Ruckert. I'm pretty sure that I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Oh yeah.
Ruckert. I feel like he's a good as a staff. So I would I would just trade back and hopefully
You've
get
been ejected from the cockpit. Lasso's been booted. Did it work? There he goes. Okay. Boom. Booted from the cockpit. We've got Rich Rise joining the show. Rich, how you doing?
Let's go, Ryan!
We got
Go,
a free tackle.
Oh man, I'm so fucking pumped, dude. Pumped. You
Dude,
have no
I'm
idea,
so
man.
pumped.
Let's go.
Dude, what's crazy is I didn't catch it when it like actually happened because my wife and I are doing our taxes. We're sitting down. It's like the most boring thing. I was like, I got to put the phone down. I got it. So I'm like, my phone lights up. Like I've got like 40 text messages. I look down and it's probably like a half hour after the news broke. And I was like, oh my God. He's gonna sign. We gotta tackle him. I was like, Becca, I can't do any more taxes. I gotta go.
That's fucking great, man. Yeah, I was at dinner with my girlfriend. I didn't see it, and then I pulled up my phone on the drive home, and I was like, we got Tyron Smith. All right, let's go.
This fucking offensive line, dude. So what's the play at 10? What do you want to do at 10?
So all right, so I'm a big offensive line guy. I think we don't have any young guys, so I still want an offensive lineman. But
Okay.
if we have a beast receiver there, guess what? We have the flexibility now. We can take it. And guess what?
BPA.
Guess what we can do now? Everyone wants to trade back. We can finally trade back because we don't have to put this guy in year one. So if we move back and we get J.C. Latham or I'm too excited. I'm forgetting the.
Dude, I'm totally J.C. Latham, Fuaga, Mims. At that point, if you could pick up a second round pick, I'd be so excited to actually get like an additional player on top of that, and then you have your third round pick. Like you could probably get 3 good players in the top 100, 110 picks, whatever it is. I'm just so happy. And then I'd be even more open to like a defensive player at some point. Like if they wanted to take a stab in one of the rounds with a defensive player because we're loading up on offense. I still want offensive linemen. I think I want 1 offensive lineman, 1 wide receiver, and then I don't know. Then it probably then I might think like cornerback almost. Cornerback or like safety. I'm trying to think like other positions, or you just go interior offensive lineman. Maybe just load up offense. Like you go tackle, wide receiver, guard, or something like that.
Well, we got the freedom to take BPA. I want to focus more on offense because that's still where we need the most help. But that's because I'm hoping we re-sign DJ Reed. But we have a lot of flexibility now. We still need 2 receivers. I'm really happy that we haven't been on these crazy receiver contracts. I think this move was great, and man, we're freaking golden. It's been too long since we've had a solid line. We need more depth though because these guys are old, so we gotta plan for the future too. But could not be more happy, man. JETS, let's go.
JETS, baby. Oh, I love it. Rich, you are ejected from the cockpit. That was a great call. Lots of energy. We got Broadway Vinny coming to the show. Broadway Vinny, how you doing, brother?
What's up? How you been?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm pumped. We finally got a tackle that we could be like really excited about. And like, it just feels good. Feels good. Both tackles. Like I didn't expect Morgan Moses, and we all hoped it would be Tyron Smith. How are you feeling?
I actually called in the other day. That's what I was saying to do. Get Tyron Smith. We were talking about the other day. We actually got him. I was at work, and there was like 10 minutes left in work. And so I'm like already hyped that I'm getting out of work. And then I see the Tyron Smith thing, and I'm on the walls. I'm like, what is happening right now? So we got him. Now with 10, I think we have to go weapon. Whether that's Bowers or Roma-Dunze, I feel like we have to go weapon. I'm a big believer in OBJ. I want to sign OBJ. That's my next move. Get OBJ in this building because he wants to play with Rodgers. He wants to play New York. And he's still that big city guy, so New York is perfect for him.
I can understand. I was going to say I could understand that because then you get your slot receiver too, and then you take your weapon, your X or your whatever on the outside.
The only problem with me is like if you take it's just like if you at 10 and you don't know where to go, Brock Bowers or Roma-Dunze, because they could both be there. Like at that point, I'm drawn between those two, so it's like I don't know if I'm in Joe Douglas' spot. I don't know who he's picking. I'd be so blown away. I'd be like, I don't know who to pick right now.
I don't know either because like I like the idea of adding Bowers because of the like quote unquote generational tag that he has, and like when are you ever going to find a player like that right there? I mean, like you could find a tight end later on, but the value for me is like worrying about the contract and stuff. So like if you're getting Bowers at 10, you could normally sign a tight end for like a really good tight end for like $10-12 million, where like maybe if you have someone else at wide receiver, you're paying like $25 million. So like you could really get some benefit if you get the top receiver, but you may not need that.
I remember, I don't know if it was like a week ago. Didn't I hear something about the Jets being in the market for a veteran tight end though? So maybe
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I saw maybe like a week ago. They were like still they're not rolling out ruling out a veteran tight end. So maybe they could do that, and then they're already looking at weapon at 10. For receiver option, but I do like the idea of trading down to get Brian Thomas. But I think if you're at 10, we've been saying this before, like if you're at 10, just get your guy. Don't move back. Don't try to get cute. Get your guy. I understand that second round pick could come, but I don't think we need that much. Like I'd rather take our guy, get the top guy, than have a situation where we're picking at a later guy, getting like what happened. We were picking a second tier receiver in Denzel Mims that one time. What happened there? Like get your guy, get your receiver, and call it a day,
Get your like hopeful Mike Evans or your whatever player. I mean, there's a lot of good receivers. To me, if you can trade down and get a second, I think that's worth it because then I could still like wrap my head around going with like maybe you want an Amarius Mims to sit for a year or something like that, and then you go with a wide receiver in the second, and then you do something along those lines. But like it depends how far down. I don't want to trade down for like a third round pick. Give me a second. You gotta make it worth my while.
Though, because the last year we couldn't figure out whether to get tackle or receiver in that one draft Mekhi back then. And that this is that reset year. Now you get to redo that and get your weapon this time because we figured out our tackle. I'm so excited for this year. Let's go Jets.
Broadway Vinny, thank you so much. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, if you want to call in, call the numbers pinned to the live chat. I've got a bunch of people on the line. I'll get through all your calls. We got Moose City saying, do you think this signing was the result of missing tackle in last year's draft? I mean, it has to be, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't have signed 2 tackles. So, yes. But also, we need a tackle anyway. We've got Mike, the Jet Barber, coming on. Mike, how you doing, brother?
Hey, guys. Great to see you. I'm so excited to see who's going to be there at number 10.
What's your thought process? Are you thinking weapon now? Do you still want offensive line?
Oh yeah, I would definitely want a weapon. We don't want to add and move back here. We want to if we want to get a great guy who we could really add this great blue chip piece. I want Romeo Duzier. I want him over Nabbers. I want him over Brock. He just seems like one of the best players in the draft.
Dude, contested catch rate and just deep ball catches, it's all there. That's what's exciting. And especially, I love seeing like Garrett Wilson tweet out to him or like comment on his Instagram, because Garrett Wilson did that as soon as he declared for the draft. Garrett, I think he threw up prayer hands, I think is what it was.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
So, and players know ball. Like Sauce and Garrett and Bryce, they know who they want to play with. They recognize game.
Real recognizes real.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, would you be in favor of trading down at all? Or are you just like, hey, take the blue chipper at 10? That's like where you're set at.
I thought about this. The best way is to be at number 10 and see who's there. Mm-hmm. And at that point will be the most valuable point. You could get a trade from Denver at 12. You could get with the Vikings. There's people that want to go. I'm just so excited. Who's going to be there? There's a lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot of receivers. Mm-hmm. Dallas Turner is going to go. Joe Alt should go.
I think he's going to go 7 to the Titans. If he doesn't go 7 to the Titans, I'm going to lose my cool. Because I think it means he's getting to 10 then. And I would consider moving up with Atlanta. Like, hey, we'll jump up to 8. We'll give you whatever. You know, I don't want to give up a third, I guess, but you might have to go get your tackle. Is there another player you want in free agency that you're kind of eyeing right now? We got Mike Williams coming in early next week. We got Jadeveon Clowney coming in early next week. Someone on your mind?
Can Mike Williams play in the cold? Can he catch with cold hands?
I don't know. He was a USC receiver, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then I don't know.
That stuff matters. The cold, I think about that when you're building a cold team like the Jets. You gotta be able to play in January.
I'd have to go back. That's something I haven't drilled down hard enough on. I would just have to see like, November, December games when they play away, how he's performed. But he's always been dinged up and nicked up too. So like maybe in the cold that exacerbates it too. And it's like, totally not good. Mike Williams is like, the injury stuff is what concerns me with him. The talent is there for sure. But I never thought about the hands in the cold weather. That's probably something to worry about for sure.
There's a ton of receivers everywhere in the league. They're everywhere.
Mike, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Mike, thank you so much for the call. Rocco comes in, says, Gallup, trade down for Higgins. Take best offensive player at number 18. So I actually like Michael Gallup. Now, I'm not saying to make him a number 2 wide receiver, but for like a year and $5 million or whatever it would cost to get him, that's like a perfect high upside kind of player that can get you 500, 600 yards. Now, if you don't think he's explosive enough and he's Lazard 2.0, I've heard that comment before, then whatever. I get that. As far as trading down for Higgins, if you can get me T. Higgins in a trade down for like number 18, so let's go 10 back to 18, I would take probably the best tackle as opposed to the best, I guess best offensive player is what you're saying. So I would go O-line there because then Higgins kind of solves your other wide receiver situation. He's a lot of money though. I don't know. I kind of want the cheap weapon. I want the cheap weapon. Let's go over to Hype. Hype joining the show. How you doing, brother? I love the chef hat.
How's everything going?
That is so
we
cool.
Cooking tonight.
What are you making? What's on the grill?
We're making an offensive line. We're making a real team. We're making a playoff push. We're making a Super Bowl caliber team. That's what we're making tonight. That's what we're doing. Hey, I got a couple of things, Ryan.
Let's go.
So a lot of people were upset with Joe Douglas being a little slow with signing players, things like that. I just need everybody to understand that the NFL has people that actually track contracts. So you have to be under the salary cap with every signing that you do once the actual free agency period opens. So that's why the tampering period is there. So you can gauge how much you have to pay each player. So by 4 o'clock when free agency opens, you could drop under the cap.
That makes sense.
So
I mean, I guess I always thought like the tampering period, I guess it's not an official signing until Wednesday anyway, but then you can at least maneuver some money around, and everyone always knows there's the back channel talking. Like there's like tampering charges already with Philadelphia and Atlanta talking to Saquon and Kirk Cousins before the tampering period even began. So it's like tampering before tampering even was. It's silly. But yeah,
exactly.
So what's your next play then? We've got the offensive line kind of put together as we probably see it for right now up until the draft. What's the next move?
Me personally, I trade back. And I know a lot of people are going to disapprove with this, but I trade back and I get JPJ.
Ooh, wow, that would be a move. That's a stealthy good O-line.
And this is the reason behind JPJ. You get JPJ for this season. Tyron is a 1 year deal right now.
Yep.
Next year, you move AVT out to left tackle. And now you got JPJ on the inside.
I could get down with that. Imagine having Tippmann, JPJ, Simpson, or even if like Simpson doesn't work out or something like that, you can still keep AV. Like there's so much flexibility because this JPJ's only played 1 year of center too, and he was a beast.
He's a guard. He's a guard by nature, and this way you have the play of expanding from inside out, and you could draft somebody in the later rounds to develop behind them. So if AVT's not working out next year, then now you could move AVT back inside, and that tackle that you're developing could go to the outside.
Now, what do you think about Carter Warren? He's kind of sitting back there in the shadows. I'd love to see him develop. Local kid.
I like him, but I still think that we could jump out and get a Marius Mims or a Blake Fisher from Notre Dame, Graham Barton. We can definitely get a second round pick from the Bengals if we don't get T. Higgins.
I hope we get there. If we can trade down and get their second round pick, I think I would prefer the second round pick over T. Higgins, just because I like whatever receiver we'd probably get in the first round, and I like the cheap contract a little bit more. Hype! Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Oh, that was a good call. Boys and girls, call numbers pinned to the live chat. We got Charlie B for Brooklyn joining the show. Charlie, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, bro. How you feeling, man? I'm doing real good after this Tyron Smith signing.
I'm feeling real nice right now. I'm pumped.
I'm feeling great, man. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of on the Joe D snoozing, Sleepy Joe type of trying line, but you know what? I got to give him his credit. I got to give the guy his credit. We're going into the draft with no holes on the offensive line. Everybody and their mother knew we were drafting a tackle. Now we got some flexibility. As far as the draft goes, I'm not so hyped on the old Brock Bowers team that everybody's going on.
Fair.
I like my tight end room. I think that we can actually have a top 5 tight end room with Aaron Rodgers and a good offensive line. I really like Ruckert. I really like Conklin. And I feel like getting Brock Bowers will be like another J-Bay situation where he might not get the playing time we expect because there's vets in front of him who might be a little better than him. And
you need to win now.
Got the team. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So you think a wide receiver, or like where's your head at for number 10 then?
I really like what the previous guest said, where we can trade back, get a JPJ, and then second round, I'm all in on 𝐂𝐵𝐵𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐻𝑒.
Wow.
I think
I like him a lot. I'm a fan.
Me too. I feel like the difference between him and Rome Odunze, who everybody's going crazy for, is just a quarterback and a system that works.
Interesting. So if you can get that talent,
if he was on LSU, we wouldn't be questioning it. He'd be a first-round talent. The guy gets open. He's big. He's fast. He takes the top off of defense. He's everything that we need opposite of Garrett Wilson. And then on a later round note, I like Blake Fisher. Everybody talks about Joe Alt. While I was trying to, do my own scouting and whatever.
Sure.
Every time I turned on the tape, Blake Fisher was locking his side up, and I was surprised. I was like, wait a minute, who's this guy? I think maybe he would have higher value if he wasn't beside Joe Alt, who's like generational talent. Maybe we'd be looking at him a little bit more, and he could be a late round pick. So for me, my dream draft goes JPJ, 𝐂𝐵𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐻𝑒, Blake Fisher in the third. We got interior versatility, depth, same thing on the tackle side. And then we bring Carter Warren back on a nice little deal.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're set on the offensive line. We can do whatever we want going forward. We have our weapons set. Our tight end room is fine. Our corners is still the top cornerback room in the league, and we're back in Super Bowl contention. I need people to like take a second because I was the same one. Joe Douglas got to get out of here. Robert Saleh needs to get out of here. But guess what? This is 2 off seasons in a row that we have Super Bowl hopes, and they're legit. If this Tyron Smith news comes out, this is 2 off seasons in a row where they're legit. I can't really say the Saleh so much. I kind of want to defend him, but I can't really. But if you're in the off season and you think you have a chance at a Super Bowl, your GM has done his job. That's all I want to say.
I love it. That's a great line, Charlie from Brooklyn. Thank you so much for calling in. Boys and girls, calling numbers pinned to the live chat. We're going to Nico. Nico, how you doing, brother? I can't hear you. Let's see. It says guest muted himself. Give him 1 second. Try talking again. All right, I'm going to boot you. I'm going to go to someone else, and you call back in. We've got Jake joining the line. Jake, how you doing, brother?
Big move, man. Very big move.
I'm a fan of this.
You know what? I was in the beginning not crazy about signing him because of his injury history, but as the weeks went by, I was starting to get a little more on board with it. And listen, it's 1 year, fine. You know what? JD finally realized, like, look, this is it. This is the year. Like next year is going to be next year is going to be a little more. 2025, 26. That's going to be a more complicated situation with where Rodgers and I'm not going to get into the politics of what he said this week, but that's a whole nother matter.
Yeah, I want to focus on football. Like I don't want to. Like why wouldn't he come out and just say like, oh sorry, like I'm not running for vice president, and like I'll just keep my head like out of all this ridiculous stuff because everything else comes up because of like the politics of it all, and it sucks. I just want to focus on.
I have a comment. I'm not going to say it, but I have a theory about Woody involved with it, but that's a whole nother matter. But anyway, so basically, look, I see it this way as we really have a line that is as close as to that 2010 line with, excuse me, with D-Brick, Mangold, Woody. Like this is the closest we're probably ever going to get. And I think they're looking at like the Rex Ryan, Tannenbaum, blueprint of trying to get as close they can to that for Rodgers, even though obviously he's better than Mark Sanchez. Obviously now this goes so many different ways. I mean, listen, they can go receiver, they can go. I think the smart bet is go offensive line or trade down. I really think that obviously the reports have been about Garrett wanting Rome Odunze, but I think the Chargers pretty much showed them. The Chargers already threw their card in the second they traded 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐢𝐚 last night and with the whole Mike Williams. So I would be stunned unless they're going to go like the draft Blake Corum and make him run the ball like 90 times a game, which could happen. You never know.
Do you think? What do you think the first couple picks are? Like, do you think the Cardinals trade out and that goes quarterback, and the Chargers actually get Marvin Harrison Jr., or do you think the Chargers are more likely to trade out of 5 and then like because then you're talking about like I don't know. I feel like JJ is going to have to get into the top 5.
You're talking about
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, I feel like if the Broncos and the Vikings want him. Like, if the Vikings want to make a move, you got to get in front of the Giants, I would think.
I think anybody who wants J.J. McCarthy in the top 10 needs to be, like, needs, like, a mental health check, honestly. Like,
you don't agree that the Vikings were probably trading up for him, though?
Why would they want – if they do, I think it's hilarious. I mean, they want to get Sam Darnold, and now they want a kid who can barely throw the football. Sure, go ahead.
Do you think they could get up to 3 maybe? Maybe that's what the Vikings are doing? They're trying to get up to, like, the Patriots pick or something? Okay.
They have 11. Different. The Patriots right now know – look, the Patriots can either be sold completely on Drake May or they're going to trade out of the pick because they would have taken Justin Fields. Unless they're waiting to get Justin Fields, then because that's the other alternative. Otherwise, they have to take a quarterback here because where are they going to go with Jacoby Brissett and just do like a whole tank year again?
Punt on it. And next year's quarterback class, at least right now, it doesn't look great. It's Sanders and Ewers is like the top 2 guys, I think. And I don't know if that's necessarily.
Yeah, exciting. No, I mean, I think 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐢𝐚 is going to be a rock solid pick. Look, we're ever going to see as time goes by next season with how the quarterbacks are doing. Look, you think anyone's crazy about Michael Penix and Bo Nix and all these guys? Not really. The quarterback, this quarterback class really isn't as sexy as people wanted to believe. But people are like, there's going to be like 5, 6. Like we said this like before, like the season last year. Like, oh, this is going to be like the best quarterback class in 10 years or something. I'm like, okay, I don't really.
I think I think it depends where you take him. Like Bo Nix at 12, if that's where he winds up going to like the Broncos, which is I think where Field Yates had him this his most recent mini mock. That's too early for me. Like, but if you want to convince me on like the Giants trading up to like 31 for Penix or something like that, like I'm on board with that move. I like Penix. I just don't like him in the top 10. And if you want the 5th year of contractual control, I can understand that going from like early second up to the first if you were going to take him in the second anyway.
I'm guessing if they're taking Tyron Smith, this is where the bulk of their cap money is going to. Like, do they really have
unless they just have void years. I mean, they could add void years. They could do 3 void years on it and just say like, hey, we're going to push some money off. We expect the cap to go up $30 million again next year. And, you know, if we just have a consistent dead cap hit of $30 million, it sucks. But it's $30 million this year and $30 million next year is going to be technically less than it was this year.
Well, I thought the case would be maybe that if they trade down and they really want the receiver, that'd be like their last push to go for Devontae Adams with that 2nd round pick. Because I don't think a 1st round pick, I don't really believe the Raiders are going to get what they want because the Jets would have to eat the money, or at least a big portion of the money. So I think really that's a possibility because I think the guys like, you know, the Giants, maybe the I think the Chargers, the Giants, the Cardinals are all probably going to be like in the Roma Dunn's conversation, Malik Neighbors, all these guys. So now, granted, listen, I am perfectly fine if like Alt and Fuaga, these guys drop to 10 and they are there. I mean, unless they're both like, unless there's 3 linemen between like 10 and 12, then I'll just trade down and take the best guy and get like a 3rd round pick. But I think right now, you know, they're going to get somebody they want. This is the beauty of this pick now is they're going to be overly satisfied. But let's not forget, our entire left side of our line is I want to just say this to every Jet fan here. I know tonight everybody's celebrating and it's great, it's happy, but understand we are 1 injury on the offensive line to be a distorted.
I don't want to hear Jake. You're out of time. I want to eject you because you're rating on my parade. He's not wrong. We are 1 injury away, but I don't want to hear it tonight. I'm having too much fun, Jake. Don't rain on my parade, Grumpy Pants. Yeetus. Base salary of 6.5 per Pro Football Talk. So if it's a base salary at 6.5 for Tyron Smith, and then all of a sudden you have incentives up to $20 million, let's go. 100% the right type of contract to get. Let's go back to the phone lines. You guys can call in. Pinned number to the live chat. We've got Benjamin joining the show. Benjamin, how you doing, brother? Benjamin, can you hear me? Benjamin going once. Benjamin going twice.
That's it. You're out of here.
Sorry, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. We've got Jimmy joining the show. Let's head over to Jimmy. Jimmy, how you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling good. We finally got a fucking tackle.
Yeah, right. I know. It was just unreal when I saw the news on Instagram. I was like, holy hell.
Dude, like I was doing my taxes and I'm like, my phone lit up like 40 text messages. I was like a half hour late to the whole conversation. So I'm like, finally have a chance to breathe.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm very psyched about this signing here, but also what's going on with the stone in my shoe here about this is he's 33. He'll be 34 in December. So I'm like, okay, we got a Band-Aid on this right now, but we need to do something about this. And I know this is going to be my Notre Dame bias speaking here, but I still think we should go Joe Alt at number 10.
If he falls to 10, I think they will. I don't know if he's going to make it there. I think 7 is like, I'm looking at the Titans. I'm saying, you sons of bitches. You just cut Andre Dillard and like you signed Calvin Ridley. It feels like they're going tackle.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was looking at the Cardinals. They have number 27 and 35 overall. What Joe Douglas can do is to make up for his mistake last year. I'm thinking one route we could go. I mean, there's so many, but I figure one route that we could go is trade him to Arizona for their 27 and 35. I mean, I'm just brainstorming here. I mean, I don't know how the value would play out. But I figure that's a good way to get the second round picks, being that we don't have any,
You're saying
and not
move
have
down,
to trade back at all.
Not have to trade back. I'm confused. Who do you want to trade to get those picks?
Will McDonald.
Oh, that would be interesting. I think we would have a very big dead cap hit if we did that. I would not. I like where McDonald's going to be, and now that we've already lost Huff, I don't think I want to trade McDonald. But if you want to trade down, like I like the Ayuk trade almost. Like if you can move down from 10 to 31 and get Brandon Ayuk, like that would be crazy good. And then you take your offensive lineman at 31. That's not terrible. Yeah. I like the T. Higgins like trade down, or even just the Bengals trade down. Like if the Bengals want to come up to 10 and we want to get their second round pick, maybe they want Bowers or something.
Yeah, I know, but with their tag already, they're going to want a nice shiny penny out of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's only it's only worth a second round pick to trade up, and Higgins is probably worth a late one, I would think.
Right.
What do you want to do in the third? Like if we're going, if you were, or let's say if you got that second round pick, where would you go?
Well, I still think we need to focus on not so much of what we want. I mean, having another weapon is all well and nice, but we need to focus on what we need here, and that's the offensive line here. Because if the Jets are gonna, if we as a construction firm here are going to be building that Lombardi Trophy, it all starts with the foundation of the offensive line and Aaron Rodgers as our foreman. So that's where it all begins.
Build it up front. Patty's up front. Thanks so much, Jimmy, for the call. You've been ejected.
Thank you.
From the cockpit. Let's go over to Cameron. Cameron joining the show. Cameron, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you, sir?
Dude, feeling good. We got ourselves a tackle.
Yeah, I had to call my dad right away because he's the reason I'm a long-suffering Jets fan. You know,
aren't we
grew
all?
up in the Jets household. His father before him. This is this has been passed down through the family.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, was surprised we got Tyron Smith. I mean, I think cautiously optimistic. You know, hoping he stays healthy. I love him when he's on the field. I mean, we've all seen his PFF grade. We've all seen, you know, just how good Dak Prescott is behind him, or running back is behind him. So I'm excited. I think this does put us squarely for 𝐒𝐿𝐷𝐿 or for Bowers. I'm personally hoping for Bowers because you get someone like that who can stretch the middle of the field, or help with the blocking on the edge for Bryce or something like that. It really opens things up. And Rodgers doesn't have to stand there very long if nobody else is getting open on the outside. We don't trade Lazard, one of those. You've always got someone there, and I think Bowers could have a long career.
And I think the tight ends, when you look at like the final four teams that made it into the playoff, like not made it into the playoffs, that were left in the playoffs, Mark Andrews, Laporta, Kittle, Kelsey, all elite tight ends. So there's an argument for like, hey, you kind of need one if you want to be with that conversation, because you got to have that person. You got the elite guy in the backfield. You got the elite guy in the wide receiver ranks. Get someone in that mid-range at the tight end spot. I like it.
Right. So, I mean, that's about it. I'm just excited like everybody else. I think this really shores up the two tackle spots now. Lets everybody else kind of grow. It puts Elijah Vera Tucker in a good spot at guard. I think Tippmann can do a good job at center. It allows the team to kind of build from there, and maybe we can keep Rodgers healthy for a game or something. I don't know.
What do you want to do the rest of free agency? Any player that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
I mean, I would take Mike Williams. Again, when he's healthy, when he's performing well, I think he would play really well on the other side of Garrett Wilson, and hell, why not Clowney at this point? Why not add one more guy, to give pressure off the edge? Because given what our division is, Miami, other people like that, you got to be able to get to their quarterback while keeping your quarterback healthy. We know that's how the NFL works.
Yeah, and Clowney is a sneaky good player too. He had a really good season last year. He actually the 9.5 sacks, but he's really good against the run too. Like he's just an all-round good player, and he's cut down on the penalties the last 2 years too, which is kind of nice. So if you could bring him in and you bring in a Mike Williams and then you roll into the draft, like you're really going true best player available.
Yeah, that'd be a nice position to be in instead of feeling like we have to reach for whatever's left over after the first 9 go by.
That's always how it feels. Brother Cameron, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, call numbers pinned to the screen. I'm going to be taking your calls. We're going to Benjamin. Benjamin, how you doing, brother?
Man, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Got ourselves a tackle.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good about that too. I tell you what, man, I've been a fan since Chad Pennington and 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐢𝐚 and Laveranues Coles. You know, the only jersey I've ever gotten was Laveranues Coles, and he was my favorite talent, man, best athletic. I don't know what you want to call him, but oh yeah, I love seeing him. So man, I'm stoked about this year coming up. Sucked. I mean, there was a pit in my soul when I saw that Aaron Rodgers went down last year.
Oh my God. That has to be the worst day of my Jet fanhood ever. Just because the game ended incredibly. Probably one of the best games I've ever been at. But like the loss was just losing everything. Our season was stolen from us.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt very similar to AVT going down the year before.
Yeah, I think there was hope with AVT, whereas with the Rodgers injury, it was like we've got a Super Bowl shot right now. Like as long as he's all right, we're good. But man, 4 plays.
Yeah, I guess as a Jets fan for so long, I kind of was hoping Zach Wilson would kind of show up.
Yeah.
Me too. After he went down, but that was tough.
We still haven't seen him moved yet. Do you think Zach gets cut or do you think he gets traded?
I mean, practice squad isn't a bad thing for us.
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
He's trying to sell his house right now, so who knows?
I was gonna say I would be so shocked if there was any way he could come back. Now Rodgers said he would want him back if Zach wants him back, but I would think Zach putting his house up for sale is saying Zach doesn't want to be here, and hey, worst case scenario, my ass is getting cut. Like,
I mean, he could just find a new place, I guess, but
yeah,
I don't know if he wants to stick around for that money. I think someone else would want to pick him up for that. I hope so.
I would even take a late round pick at this point, just like anything. Man, I really thought.
You think even the 7th? I mean, we have irrelevant, so.
Yeah, it just sucks.
I don't think we can get that.
No, I don't know.
I think it's best if we just cut him for him and for us.
Well, I don't think he can be back in the locker room. So if we can't trade him, then I think he winds up going to like Denver. That would be my guess. If he left the Jets, or maybe he's pissed off and he's going to go to like the Patriots. And he's like, I'll show you. I'm going to go to the Patriots. Well, I guess he's not really have a shot to start because they're still going to draft the quarterback.
I don't think the Patriots would even bother.
No, I don't think so. They've seen him enough. They're like, this guy's not good. That's what they're saying.
No, but honestly, as far as the draft is concerned, I think we are set to pull back to trade back.
Down.
I'm thinking Cincinnati Bengals might want to pull the trigger with our position, and we're only going back.
Love that.
And if we can get a second and another third, I would be stoked.
If I could even just get a second, I'd be
we can give them Zach for that.
You take Zach. It is a throw-in offer. Yeah, totally free. Benjamin, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Benjamin, thank you so much. We've got Nico, then Planet for Us coming up. Nico joins the show. Nico, how you doing, brother?
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear. Oh, where'd you go? Nico, call back in. All right, we're going to Planet for Us. Planet for Us, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man. I've been following your show for a long time, man. It's first time caller, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. Listen,
thank you.
If I'm making the 10th pick, I'm letting Rodgers do it.
Ooh.
She's the chef.
Yeah.
The chef, and let him cook.
What do you think he would go for? You think he wants offensive linemen to help him, or you think he's like, I want the shiny weapon. I never got that in Green Bay.
You got to get the shiny weapon, man.
That's
you got to go with the shiny. You got to go with the shiny weapon, man, because you got to score points to win, baby.
Mm-hmm. Now,
you know what I mean?
Is there a player you like? Are you a Bowers fan? Do you want to go with the receiver?
Well, to tell you the truth, I like Bowers. I like Bowers because he's a weapon. He's a weapon that you could throw the ball down the middle. Attack. You can attack. Yeah.
Forced missed tackles. He's high up there too. I think he was number 1 in the country in forced missed tackles.
How about that?
Crazy.
And you know what? I think that'll be one of the perfect picks at 10.
That it sucks because it's such like a risky pick from like a tight ends in the first round, like don't work out perspective. But if he hits, it's absolutely worth the 10th overall pick.
It's a home run.
And you have your elite weapon in Garrett on the outside. You have your elite weapon in the backfield in Brees, and now you have that mid-range guy with friggin' Bowers right there. I would move Ruckert back to like fullback almost, and then have him block for Brees, and then you keep all your playmakers on the field. So you get Bowers on the field, you get Conklin on the field, you get Ruckert on the field, you have Garrett on the field, Brees on the field.
And listen, they got to sign Mike Williams
on
Monday.
Do you think it's going to happen on Monday?
They got it. That's a must.
I wonder how
they
much
can't let him walk out the building.
Like what? Like I feel like you just show him like, hey, look what we're doing here. We got Tyron
Smith.
Rodgers is coming back. You want to go win a ring? This is what is what gets it done.
The chef is going to convince them all.
That would be amazing. I would have Rodgers in every conversation with offensive players.
Exactly. Because you know, it makes sense for anybody that's a free agent on offense to play with the Jets, because if they get a 1-year contract and they get the ball thrown to him, and him throwing the ball to them, they're going to make money the next year.
Well, especially just like guys that want to win too, like a Tyron Smith. He's at the end of his career. His choices were probably going to have to be the Jets or the Chiefs, and the Jets probably offered more money, I would think, than the Chiefs did. I don't know if the Chiefs have a tackle right now, or if they try to bring back like a Donovan Smith, because he's a free agent too.
Yeah, but I tell you the truth, man. Just let the chef cook, bro. You get him some weapons, and he's going to do his thing.
I love it.
I appreciate the call, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we're going to try this again. Third time's the charm. Nico. Brother.
Hello?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Do you think we trade for Davante Adams?
I don't know. You know, I think it depends how Davante feels, because when you're looking at Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, it doesn't really give me like the I'm getting like a good quarterback vibe. But if they're going up to trade up for a quarterback, maybe there's a situation where, you know, the Jets can trade down to the 13 pick and pick up Davante Adams for them to come up and get their quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I also was thinking, do we trade up to get what was the wide receiver?
Marvin Harrison
Jr. Yeah.
That would
do we trade up for him?
That would be a wild trade up. And I'll be honest, I don't love him so much more than all the other receivers that I'd want to pay the price to move up, because that price to trade up is going to be so expensive because of the price of the quarterbacks. We'd be paying like that inflated rate. So I think I would be more apt to sit put, because I think Odunze is going to fall to us. And between Odunze, Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm kind of like even across the board. And then even a Brian Thomas Jr., like I'd rather not go up in the draft if I don't have to. If I could trade down, that would be my move, I think.
Okay. So, yeah, I was thinking we either do that, or do you think we grab OBJ?
I could see OBJ coming in. I want to know, I don't know how much he's going to cost, but if you have him in the slot for like a relatively reasonable contract, not like I don't like the $15 million deal that he signed last year. I wouldn't want to do that. But if you could get him for, say, like $8 million, $9 million, that might be a little bit easier to swallow.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is a different kind of receiver than Odell, though. So maybe they're not trying to go the Odell route and they want that, bigger framed receiver.
What about Mike Williams?
I like Mike Williams. I think he gives you that red zone threat. And I think that's where we were hurting the most. So my whole game plan for wide receiver was always big-bodied target. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like Odunze. Both those guys, like 6'3". Then you got, I wanted Mike Evans or T. Higgins or Mike. I would take Mike Williams. If to a lesser extent, I would even take like a DJ Shark on a really cheap contract. I think Mike Williams is the best of the bunch, though. You want to send a statement, it's get Tyron Smith and him.
Do you think we have to get a Bryce Huff replacement?
I think you can draft someone, and it also, like, it might be Jadeveon Clowney. If you could bring in Clowney for like $5 million, that's definitely a better move than signing Huff for like $17, $18 million while you still have McDonald.
Do you think we should have brought Bryce Huff back?
So I would have tagged and traded him. I think you kind of made your decision when you drafted Will McDonald, so you kind of locked yourself into that. So I don't think the option to sign him long-term was ever realistic, but the ability to get him on a 1-year deal and either play with him for a season to go for a Super Bowl or be able to trade him to Philadelphia, even if it's for like a 3rd-round pick or something. Like, I think the Jets could have, I think they could have done that, but I don't know why they didn't.
And I think it would have been worth then just letting him fall to free agency.
No, you want to get something of value for him. Nico, you've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we got Al and then Ricky coming in. Al, how you doing, brother?
How you doing? I finally made it on.
Dude, I'm so excited. We finally have a tackle. This offensive line's finally shaping up, and now we can get the shiny thing at the top of the draft.
Right, I agree. Honestly, speaking to all the Jets fans, I think we should calm down a little bit. Joe Douglas definitely proved us wrong with his move so far. Honestly, the draft, I'm not really worried about the draft right now because with the O-line being set, we really might draft rotation players or backup players, and hopefully we could drive down and get a second round pick. But honestly, I'm more concerned about these jerseys right now. Like everything that Joe Douglas did.
I don't care about wide receiver. I don't need any backup players. How's his jersey gonna look?
I care about wide receivers, but right now, how it's looking with the market with wide receivers is either we're gonna trade for Adams because obviously the quarterback situation with the Raiders is not what he's looking for right now, and he's looking to win now. And why wouldn't A-Rod want his piece, his number one go-to? Plus, G-Dub, he changed his number to 5.
So, frees up to 17.
Right. So, I mean, let's kind of like relax but be excited. Stop talking about injuries. And let's get ready for the season, but let's wait for training camp.
So
That's
what do you think so if you get a Devontae Adams, what are you giving up? Like, is it like a trade down? Do you think we could get him for like a third? Like, I don't know what we get him for. That's my biggest thing for it.
Honestly,
maybe a future too.
If we could get a 2nd round pick, then for sure I think we could get Adams. But right now, the way Joe Douglas is moving, we have to expect the unexpected. Like, it's no way.
I just don't want to give up 10. I'd be pissed if we gave up 10.
Oh no,
I feel like that's
we're not giving up 10. We're not giving up 10. It's either we're going to get the wide receiver that G-Dub wanted from Washington,
Odunze,
right? Or we're going to drop down and we're going to grab a wide receiver that we don't even have our eyes on right now. So, and he might be a dog. So, but right now our wide receiver room is pretty decent so far. But we need that extra star power.
What do you think of Bowers? Like, would you be team tight end if we decided to pull the trigger there?
Honestly, he's a dog, but our tight end room are dogs already. We have Conklin, we have Rucker, hometown kid. He's a good blocker. He hasn't showed us anything yet. He just needs the plays to show us something. So us grabbing a tight end is kind of like stepping on the toes of our tight ends right now. So
okay.
I would rather us get a wide receiver and then drive some O-line. I hope we don't drive a D lineman early on in the draft. Let's wait because we've been doing that for so long. So let's just hold off on that and just get some weapons for the offense.
I love it, dude. Ooh, sorry, my brain is fucking fried right now. You've been ejected from cockpit. Oh, Al, thank you so much for the call. We've got Ricky joining the show. Ricky, how you doing, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm feeling good. Jets got a fucking tackle.
Dude, I brought out my, I was so excited with the news, I had to bring out my Breece Hall hat right here.
I love it.
I'm trying to show you.
Dude, Breece is going to be running through everyone.
I was just thinking I'm obviously happy, right? We got our line solidified. Hopefully, if they stay healthy. It just sucks that it took Joe Douglas this long. Like, from coming in and saying, I'm going to build the line, I'm going to build this team trenches out. All it took is Woody lighting fire under his ass saying, hey, this is your last chance, But, I'm not complaining at this point. I'm happy. It's exciting.
So the offensive line, like the reason I think it took so long is because we committed to Becton, and it like if they had cut bait with Becton, not that I would have advised doing that anyway. I like how long they gave it to him, but we lost George Fant, we lost Morgan Moses because we were like, hey, you got to compete with Becton. Like this is the thing, and those guys earned starting spots elsewhere. So we just couldn't hold on to them. So Douglas brought in guys that were starting caliber offensive linemen, and we had like pieces for a good offensive line. But because of our commitment to Becton, we wound up like, letting some guys go at one point.
Yeah.
So I think it could have been fixed earlier.
It just shows you that like the wrong pick in at least like the first round for the most part, it can set you back if it's like the wrong guy. If it's a great guy, you're fine. Even if he's average, you're good. But if it's the wrong pick, you're set back at least a year or two. It sucks, but we're here now.
Especially at important positions. Dude, fucking Zach. Do you think we trade Zach or you think we have to cut him?
I don't know, man. I think that Joe Douglas, since he's great at trading, he'll get some value for Zach. Anything at this point is a win for us. I'm not a Zach truther, but I think at this point now, even though there's already like the bad blood, I'm sure he wants a fresh start. We know it needs to happen, but I think this would be like the year where it would have been perfect for him to sit behind Rodgers, to watch him work behind this line, like everything. If we had this line last year, it would have been a dream scenario. It just sucks. But
if they could make it work, like if they could figure out the relationship side of things behind the scenes with Zach, I wouldn't mind him being like the third quarterback or competing with Tyrod or whatever. Like, because worst case scenario, you have the backup. I feel like the bridge is so burnt right now between like Zach and like the owner and the coach. Like it feels like there was a bubbling over point at that midpoint in the season. I don't know. I like Tyrod. I'm glad Tyrod's our backup.
Really quick before I go.
Yeah.
Last question. Because I'm in California. I'm in Santa Barbara. So I'm
Love it.
Opposite side of the United States. I'm a Jets fan. Don't ask me how or why or what, but I'm going to at least the San Francisco game and the Arizona game that are away for us, right? But I want to go to one home game. We don't know when, obviously, but which one do you think I should look into going to? I've been to the Jet Stadium once before.
So if you're going to go to a game, I think Green Bean, Matt, and I are going to plan to do the home opener as our like big group buy that we buy. And I don't know who it's going to be or if it's going to be week 1 or week 2. Like we'll find that out like second week of May. I would say that I would go early. I don't know. A division rival game is always great. Like if you can go and see a Patriot game or a Bills game or a Dolphins game, like any one of those three are awesome games. I'm trying to think who else we're playing this year. I know Jaguars and Vikings are on the road.
We don't have the Chiefs. Do we have the Chiefs again or no?
I don't think so, because I don't think we have the Chargers this year. I think we have the do we have the Cardinals? I think we have the no, we don't have the Cardinals. What am I talking about?
Either way, I think I would have killed to be at that week 1 this year, even though Aaron got hurt. Like,
dude, it was electric.
Imagine to see that. Like, that'd be crazy.
Dude, I was there. It sucked. It was awesome, but it sucked.
We won.
Well, that was crazy. Tigo and I are sitting in the stands, and we're like, man, he's down, and we didn't get to see like the replay, so you couldn't see the Achilles like pop in the stadium. So we're sitting there, we're just like, oh man, and then friggin' that Gibson return, dude, electric. Yeah. The stadium, like even like just before the Rodgers went down, like everyone's like, I've never felt the stadium like that. It was wild. Ricky, thank you so much for the goal. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Thank you so much, dude. We've got Nick T joining the line, and then Jacob. Nick T, how you doing, brother?
My man, what's going on?
I am hanging in there. I'm feeling good. Getting an offensive lineman. I'm feeling like a little confident now.
I'm shocked.
I did not think this was going to happen. I was like, he's going to go to the Chiefs. We're going to lose out on the offensive lineman. Then we're going to start freaking out.
I didn't think he was leaving Dallas.
I definitely didn't think he was leaving Dallas initially until like the other day when they said he's not going back. That was like relatively recent though. That was like 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah, and even that like surprised me. I was like, wow, I thought he was a lifer there, and they would have just paid him to just ride out his career in the sunset there. But super excited again, but cautiously optimistic. because the guy is not healthy since like for a full season, so he's gonna miss time. Like we have to build that in. That's why I'm really for doubling down with either pick 10 or even trading up to get the other lineman. We have to. Yeah, I just think it's not 100% solidified. Moses is 33 too, so I mean, these guys
and he's getting shoulder surgery.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, so like it's still like, I mean, he's been healthy and he played, you know, a good amount of the season, but still like we got older tackles.
Yeah,
drafting tackles not a bad move.
Yeah, it's not a bad play to just double down and hope to, you know, at least have the depth in case the situation that happened this year happens again. I'm open to even trading down for someone who has positional versatility of like a guard tackle type. I heard Guyton. I've been hearing that name a lot.
Guyton's a more developmental tackle. You'd probably, I mean, prototypical size and everything, but you'd probably want to take him like in the 20s, like late round one. I like Amarius Mims a lot. He's similar to Guyton in the fact that they didn't play a lot of snaps. Athletic freak. I would consider him.
Yeah,
I want weapon in the first. The weapon for me in the first is where like I'd like to go because I like Warren behind Tyron Smith right now. Do you think Bakhtiari comes in at all? Like, is that like weird to think that?
Yeah. See, like here's the thing. I would love it, but the guy was an All-Pro, and what former All-Pro? I don't care when you did it, 2-3 years removed, injury or whatnot. What All-Pro that has that injury is gonna not try and go on a roster where he's competing for a starting spot?
I could see maybe he goes to Kansas City. Maybe that's his play.
It could be. I really want him here. I would love it, but I just think logistically, it's kind of an ego thing. Like, why would you? Just like a running back.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. We were talking about that the other day, and I was like, I don't know if that's like. I mean, if he's not signed by like July and he just got to be on a roster, I don't know if he would want to like. I don't think worst case scenario he would be a like backup. I think he'd come in if like if he wasn't signed and Tyron Smith went down, then I think he would sign with us. Well, like if he was just not on a roster.
How many players do you see like at every position, especially like wide receiver? Like what happened to? And maybe he signed somewhere late, but like Jarvis Landry, like guys like that, like
I think he's still out there.
Yeah, and like there's guys like that every year that you feel like deserve a shot, or it's like, why are they not on a roster? Cam Newton's saying every year how he should be. He's one of the top quarterbacks.
Ridiculous. I think Michael Thomas is an interesting player. If you want, like, if other players were signed and he was like, "Hey, I'll sign for like $4 million or something," I would roll the dice on that. I think he's pretty good.
I think he's a perfect type of.
Nick, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Nick, you're awesome. We got Jacob joining the show. Then we got Joe. Jacob, how you doing, brother?
Yo, what is going on, everybody? I just want to say, love everything you guys do. Ryan, you, Green Bean, Matt, first time caller, but long time watcher. I'm all sorts of excited, man.
Dude, so what do you do at 10? What's the play now?
It's so hard. It's so hard because there's so many different things you could do. Personally, I am in favor of trading back and maybe getting one of those lower end tackles or maybe a JPJ and then recouping a second round pick. I love that idea. I don't know. Maybe somebody like a Seattle might want to jump up for a quarterback. I know they just got Sam Howell. I know they just traded for him, but maybe they would want to do something like that. I don't know, man. I'm really excited. I was one of the guys that thought, oh, what is Sleepy Joe doing?
He's not doing anything. He's just sitting back. He's falling asleep. The receiver, Keenan Allen for a 4th and Hollywood Brown for $11 million. What do we do at wide receiver? What's the play?
I would have loved Keenan Allen. I think he went for dirt cheap. But I don't know. I think when you ultimately trade down in that scenario, second rounder's got to be a receiver. If not your first rounder. If you don't go in the first round, it's got to be second rounder. At the very latest, a third rounder. I am personally one of my favorite receivers is Roman Wilson. I love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know
really
he might not
good.
be the typical. How to say this? I know he might not fit the size profile we're looking for exactly. But I do love me some Roman Wilson.
Do you think so he's probably going to go in the second round, I think, is what I've heard him projected. So you'd have to trade down. What if we couldn't trade down? We had to stay at 10. Would you take the tackle there, or would you take, like, is Bowers on your, like, radar? Where do you feel about the wide receivers at the top?
I don't know about that. I know he's supposed to be that generational type player, but I don't know if you can justify taking a tight end at 10. It just always seems to never work out. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd just be kind of skeptical at first. I would love me a wide receiver. Odunze, if he falls, I don't think he's going to, but if he happens to. But I'm not really a huge favor. If we got our 2 tackles, why? You need somebody who needs to produce right now, and that's not going to be a tackle.
I agree.
Until the last couple games when Tyron Smith eventually goes out, you know he's going to.
Well, that's exactly, and the thing I love about signing the veteran tackles in both Moses and Tyron Smith is you allow Mitchell and Warren to kind of develop behind them. So maybe there's some truth to that with the tight end room too. Like, they don't want to bring in a Bowers because you have Ruckert and you got Conklin. It's almost like stepping on their toes, like one of our previous callers just said. And then you go with the wide receiver because everyone's saying you got to get a wide receiver anyway. You're not stepping on anyone's toes, and you're actually, like, getting a legit weapon that normally gets paid like $20-25 million for dirt cheap, where tight ends are not really that expensive comparatively.
Right.
Interesting. Jacob, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. E-Boogie says O-line, O-line, O-line. That's what he wants to see. All right, let's go over to Joe. Joe on the line. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Ryan? Hell yeah.
Fucking tackle.
So I'm stationed in Hawaii. All my Jet stuff is at home. I have the only green shirt. I got tits in it now.
I
really
love it.
On me, but it's all I got.
You look beautiful in the green. That's awesome, dude. That's fucking sick over there. So now what do you do? What are you thinking at wide receiver for the rest of free agency? Then I want to get your thoughts on pick number 10.
So my thing on it is I think the Corey Davis or Mike Williams thing is a huge part of this. Like, if we get one of those two, I'm really in favor of the trade down route, because then you could get a second round guy who might have a good impact but might not be that right away number 1. But as it stands right now, it's got to be Odunze or BJT. That's how I see it, because they're just too good to pass up. And I think, like, that 1-2 with Garrett Wilson, like that, it's hard to pass on. But,
dude, it would be so wild.
If I think the other thing with Davis people forget about is, like, his run blocking is so good. He does so many good things besides just obviously his production. So if we have him back, I'm more okay, like, getting that, project, high upside, not even a total project, but somebody that could sit behind and fill in when Tyrone goes down. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I was going to say, do you feel tackle at the top of the draft then? Like, let's say you get a Corey Davis and you want someone in the second, like an 𝐂𝐻𝐧𝐤𝐬 or a maybe Tez Walker or something, whatever, receiver of choice in the second round. Are you thinking Bowers at all, or no? You don't want to touch tight end in the top part of the draft?
I would be excited to have Bowers, but I think with the money, that's the big thing. Like, I kind of like what we have at tight end. Like, obviously, Yeboah is not the best number 3, but it's a number 3. And what Conklin has done, Ruckert, I think, is only going to get better. I think it's like, it kind of gets to a luxury pick where we're, like, kind of in a position to do that. But if we could really take that wide receiver room and make it a total strength, tight end is easier to replace. It's the same idea where, like, I like JPJ a lot, but it's like, I feel like Douglas was able to get 2 tackles this year, but, like, guard is typically going to be easier to fill than tackle. So I would rather get tackle, wide receiver at the top. And there's a lot of good tight ends that you could find later, and, like, not exactly throw darts, but, like, Kuntz didn't work out. But, like,
but he's still around. Like, I feel like they'll have him on the practice squad or something. I like the idea of going receiver because of the money, just like you said. You have a $25 million receiver as opposed to, like, maybe a $12 million tight end. So, like, save the value, because that's an extra, like, $12 million player or whatever you could have on your team.
You got to think about like the difference, like over what we already have. Like that's the big thing. Like right now, wide receiver don't have enough. So that's where. But I'm still jacked up about what's going on. I'm not trying to like bring down the energy at all. So.
Nah, dude, I'm pumped. Let's go, Joe. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I love it. I got Frank on the line. Frank, I'm going to get to you in just a second. Hype comes in, says hot take, but we get 𝐂𝐷𝐄𝐄 and he plays all grass games. Tyron Smith plays all the turf games because remember, Dallas has turf. Hey, you never know. And we can go jumbo package. Great rusher. Wow. Could you imagine? Jets just load up on blockers and they're like, yeah, we're going to put it's going to be the quarterback, Aaron, turning around to Bryce, and everyone else is an offensive lineman. We're all just going to run it down your throat. That's a great play. Give the ball to Bryce. Let's go over to Frank. Frank, how you doing, brother?
Ryan, how's it going?
Dude, feeling real good. Feeling real good.
Me too. Me too. Very happy with the Tyron Smith signing. My draft strategy is this. To me, of course, you want to get as many as your needs done before the draft so you could take best player available. So we got the line. If we sign Mike Williams, because in my opinion, I don't think O'Dunes and Neighbors will be there. I think the Giants and Chargers will take wide receivers in their spots. So you sign Mike Williams, maybe you take Bowers at 10, and then with the third round pick 72, you get someone like Ricky Pearsall. Can you imagine that group of weapons?
You'd be feeling real good. Real good. The two tackles, getting Moses and getting Tyron Smith, just unlocks what 10 could be. I love the idea of a trade down to get that extra second round pick. I think that's where I fall on a lot of stuff. Just load up, like get additional guys. Now, if Odunze does make it to us, I would take him at 10. I would do that. But I would too. So I think, do you think with Minnesota getting the extra first round pick today, do they use both first round picks to get up in the first? And do you think it's going to be like in front of the Giants at 6? Like, where do you think the Vikings would have to trade up to if we think a quarterback's going in the top 10, like outside of the top 3, maybe?
I'm looking at Tankathon right now. I think they would probably have to maybe get in front of maybe the Giants at 6.
That's what I'm thinking. So the Vikings would either, I feel like if the Vikings trade with the Chargers can get multiple picks and they can kind of hit like receiver at 11 if Odunze falls. They get a right tackle if they want. Or the Cardinals could trade down. And then if one of those teams moves out for the Vikings pick, then that means a wide receiver might fall to the Jets at 10.
Right. Either Neighbors or Dunes would fall. I keep reading stuff about the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy. They like him.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. So if you think you might have to get in front of the Giants, then it's the Chargers and Cardinals. It's one of those two that are going to have to trade up unless you're going up even further, like to the Patriots pick. I think the Patriots could trade out. I don't know if they're sold on quarterback at 3.
Also this, are we definitely sure the Giants ain't going to go quarterback? They're really going to go with Drew Lock and Weber?
That's why I'm thinking, like, if you're a team that wants JJ, I think you have to get into the top 5. And the Broncos, the Chargers ain't trading with you to get your franchise quarterback. So they're going to have to get up at least to number 4 if they want JJ. So we might see quarterback go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at 5, the Chargers get their replacement of Marvin Harrison Jr., and then the Giants get Neighbors, and then I think Odunze ends up falling to the Jets in that scenario. Because I think the Bears don't go Odunze anymore with Allen.
Yeah, so all we would really need is one of these teams to jump in and try and get the quarterback, and then one of those receivers leak out to number 10. So who knows?
Who knows, Frank? Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, call number is pinned to the live chat. If you'd like to call in, I'll take your calls. I don't even know. How long have I been doing this now? We are almost at 2 hours. It's 12 o'clock. I'm excited. Oh, I can't sleep. I wouldn't be sleeping anyway. What are you guys talking about? RW says, bottom line, Jets are no longer desperate at 10 and can be major players affecting several other teams. Exciting. Yes, we could be a wild card. And we've plugged our holes, so if there's someone we love, we could, in theory, trade up. I like the idea of trading down. You could go tackle. You could go wide receiver. You could go tight end. Lots of different options for the Jets at number 10. Al Smith says, I expect us to draft a safety later in the draft, but we definitely need to work on drafting wide receiver. Corey Davis will return to us. If you get Corey Davis back, I would be so excited. I didn't even think about his blocking. I completely forgot about his run blocking. One of our callers said it earlier tonight. I was like, oh, man. That's right. Ricky says, tackle would be good for us long term, but I think the move is an immediate playmaker, a.k.a. Odunze. Jay says Odunze and Brian Thomas Jr. I like that. We've got Phenom joining the show. Phenom, how you doing, brother?
Wow. I'm so happy to yo, man. I'm so
long
happy
time no talk.
Well, look, I want to break the ice, yo. I got a beef with you.
Oh, with me? What'd I do?
Well, it's about
Phenom, you've been ejected from the cockpit. I don't know what's going on right there, Phenom, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. He's buffering a little bit. Jets says Rome Odunze, if he's still on the board. I agree. H2 Senior Ryan Mitchell has had 4 years to develop and has played. If he wasn't good last year, he won't be good this year. Trade back, get a second rounder for Tanu Fuaga in the first round. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I like Mitchell competing for his job. I just like I like Mitchell. I'm a fan. His dad watches the show too. Hi, Mr. Mitchell. Tim from Fishland calling into the show. Tim, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, my man?
Feeling good.
So,
Feeling good.
Like I told on all the Jet fans on Jake Assman, RELAX. Relax. Joe Douglas is a swindler. Okay, he's going to get the best value for what we need and not hammer our cap. Because just remember, what a lot of people don't understand is that we're going to have to pay Sauce and at least Garrett here in 2 years. Okay, and then maybe even Jermaine. And then if we want to keep Brees, yeah, we could put the franchise tag on him. But that's that. All right. This move allows the Jets so much flexibility. I want to see a trade down.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with you. I want to see a trade down. I want to see them, if they get Mike Williams, because LaSauce is supposed to be there on Monday, our co-GM.
Our GM.
All right.
I love it.
That's fine, but the best thing that I love about this is that it's not a guaranteed contract. It's an incentive-laced contract.
100%.
Okay. Listen, when it all comes down to it, if you want to win a chip, Aaron Rodgers definitely helps, having him in the building.
I would say so.
But you can't just throw around guaranteed money, or otherwise you're going to be just like these teams like the Chargers, the Ravens, the Bills, the Dolphins.
Hemorrhaging
that are
players.
on cap there, and they have to let go of all these good players because they're idiots and they don't know how to sign people.
I can't call them idiots. They've been in the playoffs way more consistently than we are, especially the Ravens.
Yeah, but what
Chargers,
have they done
you could
in the
argue.
playoffs?
That's fair, but they're still having success when we're not.
Hopefully but when you have a 4-time MVP, okay, an elite quarterback, there's only maybe 5 of them in the league. Okay, come on. You know what I mean? Like you have to pick and choose at that point. Okay, like Aaron Rodgers said before the season this year, he said he believes there's only 10 to 12 teams that actually have a chance. Okay, and those 10 to 12 teams, about 5-6 of them have an elite quarterback. Okay, so what I want to see the Jets do from now on is I want to see if Boyd comes in, that'd be great. I don't see Boyd if they sign Mike Williams. I don't see that happening. What I see happening is that they trade down, maybe into the teens or the 20s, take a tackle there, then get another wide receiver in the second round.
I like
if they
that.
Get a second round pick. Okay, and then maybe even take another guard in the third round.
I like that. I like building the interior because it's not a given that Simpson's going to work out, and then AVT could be a tackle at some point. I mean,
but he has injury histories. That's the biggest issue.
Of course. So you still want to have. I like Zach Zinter in the third. If you can get Zach Zinter in the third, you're feeling pretty good, I think.
What is the old saying? Is you keep repeating the same mistakes? What do we call that?
Yeah.
Insanity.
It's insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Expecting different results. Okay.
Tim,
and
thank you so much for the
I think Joe Douglas and Rob
from the cockpit. I'm ruthless with the chicken. Ruthless. Boys and girls, hit that like button if you're hanging out in the chat. I have a poll question up. I'm curious to see where you guys are at on this. Over 1,100 people voted on this. Brock Bowers is the popular pick with 36% of the vote. Odunze coming in with a cool 30%. And then left tackle or right tackle sitting there at number 26. I would imagine trade down would be a pretty popular option. Maybe let's do that. Let's throw that up on the board. We'll do a little question here. What do you want? And then we'll keep it vague. And then boom. So we'll just call it position. What position do you guys want? I'm just reading back some of these comments. I'm not picking up the line. What do we got going on? Anthony calling in. Let's go over to Anthony. Anthony, how are you doing, brother? Anthony's gone. Goodbye, Anthony. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Brandon says, nah, this can technically be our last and only season with Rodgers, and our only shot is to win it all. Douglas, Saleh are kind of on the hot seat. Go all in, baby. That feels like wide receiver for me. Ricky says, the league better not let us trade a fourth for Sutton, or else it's a wrap for everyone. Let's go. I would love to get Sutton. I don't think it's likely at this point, unless the Broncos want to come up to 10 and they want to offer us Sutton for a trade. I would do that. But I feel like he's going to stay in Denver now. Disappointed. Anyone know what Solomon Thomas contract is? I have not seen what the Solomon Thomas contract is. I'd imagine it's probably pretty low. I can't imagine it's overly high. I don't want it to be like another Kinlaw type contract. It should be a lot lower than that. I hope it's around like $4 million. Anthony says we still need to draft tackle because you can never have too many good offensive linemen. I do like the idea of trading down for the offensive tackle and having a little bit more of a developmental one and then going receiver in the second. I like that. You could tackle receiver first 2 picks if you get a second round pick. And if not, then it's your third round pick. I don't know. I lost a caller. Had a caller on the line. Yeah, so I would say if you get a second-round pick, then I'm fine going either way, tackle or receiver in the second round. If you don't get a second-round pick and you have a third-round pick and that's it, I like tackle in the I really want to trade down. If you could go receiver at 10. I like going receiver at 10. But I feel like you might be able to get a good receiver in the third, where I don't know if you're going to get a good tackle in the third. I feel like that's a longer shot. So I could see where you're going here. Joey Jets says, trade down, get a second rounder, add a playmaker, and an offensive lineman. Trade down, I think, is got to be like the play. Because I still feel confident you can get a good tackle in the second round if you wanted to. And then you can get an elite wide receiver at the top. But I do like the idea of going JPJ. If you can trade down to like 16 to 18, somewhere into that range, that would put you, is that the Jaguars? Is pick 17? Bengals are pick 18. I think Seahawks are 16. I think that gets you far enough down that you could get a second round pick and then definitely get your, you get a top end tackle there. And if you get the second round pick, Xavier Legette, Tez Walker, Roman Wilson, Xavier Worthy, if he doesn't go in the first. A lot of good players. Jets. Thank you for the super chat. Pronounced Kevin. Wow. We've had this conversation before. I'm glad you put that on there. He says, trade down, then pick Mims, Mitchell, Van Pran, Estime, and McCaffrey. Smile. I'd get down with that. Amarius Mims, A.D. Mitchell, Van Pran the center. So you've got your tackle, you've got your receiver, your center, your running back. What is McCaffrey? Receiver? I think he's receiver, right? I don't remember what his brother plays. Love it. Love it. All right, we're going to go over to Lima Bean, but E-Rock says, we have a great line if healthy. Continue with depth. Build out that depth, baby. Let's head over to Lima Bean. Lima Bean, how you doing?
How are you doing?
I am doing all right. I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling good. We got an offensive line right now.
And it's not Bakhtiari. So think about that.
I'm shocked. If you not totally shocked.
Here's what happened. They tried to call him in, but the minute he tried to step in his car, he broke his fucking knee. That's what happened.
He's just like, I stepped off the plane and slid on the, that plastic carpet in the airport that's similar to AstroTurf.
I'm telling you, man. They probably saw his medicals, man. They don't want Bakhtiari unless he's like a third tackle. It's just too risky. Like, if he wants to be Aaron Rodgers' friends, he could, like I said, show up in the food truck. It's fine. Like,
you could be friends off the field. You don't have to be our left tackle.
You could work in One Jet Drive, serve people salmon like crazy. It's just.
Dude, I'm stunned Bakhtiari's not our left tackle. This feels like to me that Joe Douglas is pulling the punches. He's the one in charge.
I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers kind of knows. Like, hey, listen, he's my guy, but he can't stay healthy. It's just what's the point? Listen, I'm sure you could take him out for a drink later. And I'm not saying you can't have Bakhtiari as some practice squad junkie, but
do you think he could come in let's say he doesn't sign anywhere? Would he come in later in the summer, or do you think that he's got too much pride and would need to start somewhere?
Now if he felt like there's a chance for a ring or something really good to happen, then I wouldn't be surprised if he came in here as a walk-on almost. Kind of be hey, listen, I know you got your lines up. If you need some depth, he could be I'm not against him being depth because if he doesn't play, the last thing you want to see him is be have your whole eggs in his basket because you don't know if he's gonna break down or not. But if he's our third, offensive tackle, then that's a different story. But we have Tyron
Imagine
Smith.
Imagine a power set with him and Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. Be
we
kicking the piss out of
every
people.
Year, but it never happens. So I'm not even gonna think about it. It never happens. We say oh, what did we get all these what was it? Green Bean wanted 4 tight ends on the line to just run the ball through. Yeah,
just fucking pound the rock. Pound the rock.
At we have flexibility to either move up, move down, get either a tackle or a wide receiver. Like we just, that's the best part about it. Is like we can get multiple things and not be so worried about the draft as much. And that's where my hope lies. Where like we got places, so we might get that receiver. Like
what's your feeling? You think it's Odunze or you think it's Bowers?
I don't know how it's gonna. I still can't get on back. Like if we draft him, I'm not gonna go crazy. But he's still a good player. But like it's just hard. I just seen too many first round tight ends that just never pan out. Like and that scares me. But
the contract value is kind of like the interesting part for me because if it's a 25 million, sorry, you go on.
No, what was that third wide receiver? I can't remember his name, but like if people like him as elite hands is.
So there's Odunze, there's Neighbors, and there's Marvin Harrison Jr. And then after that, then it starts getting a little murky. I like Brian Thomas Jr. a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like what's his face? Will Parkinson actually mentioned him. I was like, all right, that's interesting. Like
he's super really fast.
Like if you could actually trade down, get him, and then recoup something. Like the thing is, we have potential. We could screw someone else by making sure they trade up to get their quarterback, giving us picks, and then having them bust, Like so
that's like if we can get a trade down, that's my move. Like I'm fine with Bowers, but I don't love Bowers.
Yeah. I just don't love Bowers either. But like finally maybe we get some positivity in the Jets when it comes to the fucking media, because all we're talking about is everything but fucking football, Like
it's nice.
Just it's just
we go into Friday, the weekend. Hopefully nothing happens. They probably saw like, shit, Aaron's causing all these headlines. All right, cool. Let's go out and spend the most money on the tackle. Let's get
really causing the headlines. They're calling around him. People
it's everyone around it going on.
Yeah, like they're like,
he's been off the grid.
Yeah, he's been off the grid, but people just can't it's like they want to stir the pot. Like it's just like the negativity.
You've been ejected from the cockpit. Great talking to you, Lima Bean. I got more people on the line. We got Tyronius Leroy. Welcome to the chat, brother.
What up, boss?
I'm hanging in there. How you feeling about Tyron Smith signing? Whoa, where'd you go? All right, call back in. I've got Fly By Night. Fly By Night. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to the cockpit.
Thank you. We're flying off to the greatest lands that we've ever seen tonight. I'd just like to make sure all of our passengers have their entire seatbelt fastened and everything's ready to go. Is my co-pilot ready for an amazing season coming up this year?
I'm so excited. We have Tyron Smith. We have an offensive line finally.
We have an offensive line. Someone's gonna block. It's gonna be great. We'll see one pass so far.
Now, what's your next move? What do you do at wide receiver? What do you do at in the draft?
I think it really comes down to, you got Williams coming in, so do we get him signed? Do we not? I think that this move, along with the Moses trade, just really frees us up. It frees us up for anything that we want to do. You want to go into this with Mike Williams, you get a good contract, cool. That gives you every play in the book. You got
it's perfect leverage.
Absolutely. It's because what does anyone think you want? They don't know anymore. We don't even know anymore. We just know we want something. But I think personally, you make me GM today, I'm trading down if I get a good offer. I'm getting into that second round again. I'm doing the play everybody else is talking about. Get the offensive line, get the wide receiver, load up the offense. So because we got a defense, we let Bryce. That hurts. It hurts to see Huff go, but you know what? It's a game. It's a business. It's a business. At the end of the day, can't do any more than that. But I
wish we had gotten something for him though. That's my biggest thing. Like if we could, I feel like the way Philly signed him, someone would have thrown a pick at him. You can't tell me
for sure. I think we definitely could have put like a tender for like a third round on him, and it wouldn't have done the
franchise tag. It was the franchise tag or the transition tag because we tendered him last year. So we did the second round one last
wouldn't be bad though because you could recruit a pick and then use that to either trade up or just pick have another shot.
But that would have been the way to get your second. Then you get your blue chipper at 10 and you already have your second, or you trade down and then you just have even more picks and then it's fucking great.
Yeah, because I think look at the way the Eagles handled that. Obviously they wanted him. They let go of their guys and they picked him up. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Nothing we can do. But hey, I just wanted to call in. I don't ever get a chance to do that. Just got off work early, so just wanted to say, hey, thank you. Break the wall of illusion. Thank you for everything you do. You have actually inspired me, and a lot of my friends are encouraging more. But I've started trying to start my own thing. I'm not going to plug or anything, but
I love it. You can plug it.
thank
It's all
you.
right. If you feel comfortable enough plugging, you
Yeah,
can plug it.
it's a work in progress. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
I just, you and Jake and Greeny and all of you guys are amazing, and you really keep us cuckoo de la cabeza, like dudes, just going. "Grrr." You keep us in that like, oh no, just chill. We'll be all right.
We'll
So
figure it
thank you.
out. It sucks right now. Brother, it's the ultimate honor. Thank you so much for the call. Fly by night. I will talk to you again, my friend. You're out of here. We got Anthony joining the line. Anthony, how you doing, brother? Anthony, can you hear me? I can kind of see a shadow. I see a light. I don't hear you, though.
I got fucked up. I got fucked
up.
Camera.
Is he switching his camera? Go to Wi-Fi or cellular. I don't know. Ejected from the cockpit. Oh, boys and girls, we got ourselves a tackle. Oh, I'm excited. All right. So, poll question. Pretty soundly, 50% wants to trade down. So rather than me listing specific players that you want, it's trade down, wide receiver, left tackle, right tackle. Not many people want the tight end. All right, let's go back to Anthony. Anthony, can you hear me?
Let's try this again.
I got you, dude. Talk to me.
Yeah, I got fucked up.
That's okay.
I'm hyped. I think this opens up all our options in the draft now.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think we do with the rest of free agency? We got Mike Williams coming in Monday. We got Jadeveon Clowney coming in early next week. What do you think we do in free agency? And then what do you think happens at 10?
I don't like the Mike Williams option, honestly.
Mm.
I still think we should get Corey Davis and draft a receiver, or maybe draft a tackle still, because Tyron Smith has that fucking injury history, so you can't risk having him go down, and then what? And then who are we gonna throw there at left tackle to block for fucking Aaron Rodgers? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole trade down option to me is really enticing, because if I can take a tackle a little bit further down, then I'm feeling kind of nice, and then you get that second round pick to get your receiver, because I think there's a lot of really good receivers in this class, and I think you could get a Xavier Legette, or maybe A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Tez Walker, Brendan Rice. There's a lot of like really good ones. Green Bean always brings up Malik Washington. Really like him as a slot receiver. Snag him in the 4th, maybe.
That's true. I also agree. I think we should trade down, and I'm thinking if we trade down, what do you think about trading down and then going after giving our first round for T. Higgins, our first round pick, if we trade down and get the second rounder?
That's interesting. Because then you go with your offensive lineman in the second round. And T. Higgins. Yeah, I like the cheat. Man, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I want to make the pick. I like the 5-year contract more than the expensive 5-year contract. Like, I'd rather take a stab at a high-end wide receiver and hope they're going to be T. Higgins.
It's
true, I think. I think that's my
fucking window.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's a weird one, because I wanted Higgins as a free agent too. But I think in a trade, I don't know if I feel the same. I feel like that's a lot.
I mean,
like if because you're talking probably 4 years, $100 million contract, and then a first round pick.
Yeah.
But you go all in for the 1 year. So like if you only have Rodgers for 1 year, like try it. Like let's go get a ring.
Think about it. If we get T. Higgins, who's gonna stop us?
Dude, that's just it.
Who's gonna stop? Brees, Garrett, Aaron Rodgers. Offensive line, the defense. Who the fuck
we're going to win the offseason, and then I just like, someone's going to get hurt.
I know.
I'm trying not to get too hyped, but I'm far too fucking hyped. I'm pumped on this. Brother Anthony, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. We got Caden joining the show. Caden, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I am hanging in there. I'm feeling pretty good. We got an offensive tackle right now. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Rough day over here. We had to put my dog down today, so that was sad.
I'm sorry. That's not fun.
Thanks, I appreciate it. But it was frightening to hear that we signed Tyron Smith tonight. Yeah, so that definitely lightened my day. But I wanted to give you some get your thoughts on my mock draft I just done.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so did this off on Pro Football Network. So I think I traded down 3 times. I ended up getting to like 22 with the Eagles pick.
Okay.
Yeah, like I traded down with the Broncos, then with the Raiders, and then with the Eagles. Kind of crazy, but I got a second round pick next year from Denver.
Okay.
I just kept taking the trades, and so we take Troy Fautanu, I think it's pronounced, from Washington, and that's the nice thing. He's kind of like that flexible tackle guard, so we can like still have that backup like for Smith, for Simpson, or maybe even on the right side if we needed to. We have a lot of flexibility there.
Yep.
Pick 44, we go Malachi Corley, receiver from Western Kentucky.
Yep.
I don't know as much about him, but it's like, I mean, receivers are going to be pushed up the board so much because it's such a stacked class, and teams are going to want to take the receiver. He might not be a second-round talent, but receivers are going to go.
I'm pretty sure he had the really good Senior Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, too.
I'm
pretty positive he had a really good Senior Bowl. Okay. So, like, I'm on board. I like guys that perform at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, Roman Wilson and Brendan Rice were the main standouts I remember from the Senior Bowl that were really good. But then at pick 50, which we got 2 second-round picks in this trade. We get the center from Georgia, Cedric Van Brander?
Van Brander.
Okay, however you want to pronounce his name. So, hey, that gives you even more flexibility. So, like, let's say AVT goes down, Tippmann can slide over to right guard, and we plug in Van Pran at center. Gives you a lot of flexibility there, which is needed. We don't have a third-round pick then, which we lost. And then to 111, our fourth-round pick, we get Michael Pratt, quarterback from Tulane. So hopefully we can sit him behind Rodgers and Tyrod, develop him. Maybe down the road he starts, and if not, you took your swing.
Yep.
135, I don't know how likely it is that he's still there, but we take Brendan Rice from USC. How likely is it that he's there?
What round was that?
I'd say unlikely, because this is the 4th round, and I think late fourth round at that. But hey, if he's there, I'll take him.
Yeah, I like the pick.
So
for
more
sure.
depth.
You can only take who's available.
And I mean, we're hoping that this isn't a world where we sign Mike Williams too. That'd be perfect then, and we'd have like plenty of receiver depth. And bye Alan Lazard. See you never.
Seriously, yeah. You just
and then last pick is Dylan Johnson, the running back from Washington. I mean, just one of the best players available at that point. So, and he was like a beast in that Pac-12 championship game, playing through that injured foot.
Oh, yeah. And if you have, I like the idea of drafting another running back too, because I feel like it's a young man's game. It's a cheap contract, and you just keep churning them out. And then you want Brees to have the majority of the carries anyway. I love it. That's an A+ draft.
Thanks,
I'd sign up for that. Caden, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys, girls, calling numbers pinned in the live chat. Want to get over to a few super chats, then I'll get over to Tyronius, Leroy, and Anthony. Love retro, by the way. Brees is going to eat. Brees is getting 2,000 yards this year. It's happening. It's happening. We're seeing 2,000 yards for Brees Hall. Riley Duda says, sign Mike Williams with an Odell Osborne. Then draft Bowers. Who is stopping that offense with Rodgers throwing in a clean pocket? So you want to go, oh man, 2 wide receivers and then Bowers. I understand the love for Bowers. It's such an odd play. I don't want to say an odd player to get. It's a sexy, different player to get. But I really like Conklin and I really like Ruckert. So it's hard for me to really I'm on board with Bowers, but I'm not quite there yet. I really, if I could go receiver's where I would go at 10. Trade down, give me a receiver, or trade down, give me an offensive lineman, then go receiver in the second. I like either one of those. Bowers is, oh man, it's interesting though. That's an interesting play. Tyronius Leroy. How you doing, brother?
What up with your boss?
How you feeling about Tyron Smith?
Tyron Smith. That's cool. I worry about his injuries, but
yeah.
I mean,
but who else could we get? I mean, for the money, Jonah Williams got $15 million a year for 2 years. We got Tyron Smith on an incentive-laden deal. Yeah. I like that.
What is it up to, right?
I heard it was up to $20 million. I think they said 6.75 guaranteed, and then incentives up to 20.
That's not bad.
No.
I mean, yeah, injuries are everywhere. It's a risk you take.
Mm-hmm.
At 10 though, Bowers, do you think he'd be willing to play a Swiss Army role?
Just let him play every position, kind of? Probably. He did it at Georgia. He lined up in the backfield. He's like in line. He's out wide. They've used him everywhere. I think they even used him as quarterback a few times.
Well, I need him at quarterback, but
no, I'm not. I'm not trying to play him at quarterback. But I'm just saying I think they've played him like everywhere on that offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean he's good. I think trade down is a better option though for sure. Get more value with it. Take best offensive lineman available wherever you drop down to, and then second round pick up Leggett for sure.
Yep.
And I'm a South fan, so I've seen a lot of them catches.
Yeah.
Got good speed, nice frame, solid. So
he's a fun receiver to watch, and I'm pretty sure he was on our Senior Bowl team, or did he bow out of the Senior Bowl? I don't remember. I did. What was that?
I know he was supposed to be though. I said I didn't watch Senior Bowl.
I feel like he may have bowed out. I did a video on him because he was on like our list of players that we got assigned, and he's really good. He's really fucking good. I would go with him in the second round. I like Tez Walker didn't have a good Senior Bowl, but he's an interesting player out of UNC. I think if you could get an AD Mitchell or a Xavier Worthy, if either one of those guys were to be in the second round, how far down do you think you have to drop in the first round to get a second round pick?
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Like, what is the value of 10 overall? I mean, is it just first, second?
I think there's only value there if a quarterback falls. Like if a quarterback's at 10, then there's value. But I think with Minnesota, I guess it depends what Minnesota does. If Minnesota uses their 2 first-round picks to go up into the top 3, then it still allows JJ to fall down to 10 and the 10 pick becoming valuable for a trade. But then it's a matter of, do the Bears or the Falcons or the Titans feel like they would take a lesser trade down where a team would leapfrog us anyway to get the quarterback, and then our pick doesn't become as valuable. So like once that 4th quarterback goes, I don't think 10 is going to be tradable unless someone wants to come up for a Bowers. So then we might have to drop back further. So like if it was, say, the Bengals that wanted to come up for Bowers, do they give us a second round pick or do they give us like a T. Higgins? I would prefer probably the second round pick and pick 18. And then I would probably think O-line and then wide receiver.
Well, then, every year during the draft process, interview process, teams fall in love with players. So.
Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Sure.
Tyronius Leroy, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I've got Anthony, then Benjamin on the line. I want to go over real quick to Daddy Dev says, I took a nap and woke up. We signed Tyron Smith. Dog, I thought I was dreaming. Bowers won't fall past the Giants. Best weapon we can get is Odunze. Do you think Bowers goes to the Giants? Didn't they just sign 2 tight ends too and they got Waller coming back? I don't know. I don't think they go Bowers. I think they go Neighbors. Neighbors feels like a Giants pick to me. I like the good wide receiver for them. I got to talk to the entertainer. I haven't talked to Chris in a long time. See what his thoughts are on the Giants. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get a content creator from each of the teams. See if I can find a Bears guy, talk about who he would take at 1. Well, I guess everyone kind of expected it to be Caleb anyway. I got to get some guys on. I got to talk to people. Got to make some people happy. Make it happen. Barney says, offensive line set, defensive line set. All we need now is wide receiver and a quarterback. As long as our quarterback stays upright, we're good. Wide receiver, though, that's at the top of the draft, baby. Or do you go tackle? I feel like we're going to have to make the pick at 10. I don't think we're going to be able to trade down. Unless we want to fall back like far. Like 18. I don't know. I'd love to trade down. Let's go to Anthony. What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
What's up, man? Loving the content, man.
Dude, feeling good about Tyron Smith?
Oh, dude, this offseason is like going exactly how I wanted it to go. I've been on the Bowers train like since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if he's a tight end. Like people don't realize, like when he went down in Georgia, the Georgia offense was gone. Like he was the offense. And like even this season, they played with Beck, who wasn't even supposed to be the starter, and the only guy he was throwing to was Bowers. So
he's so good. I understand why people want him. He's a scary pick.
Yeah.
Like I get the risk reward.
Yeah, like he has like he looks like nothing. Like he's not even that big as a tight end.
No, he's only like 6'2", 6'3".
Football player. Like, he's a football player. That's the biggest thing. Like you can't evaluate that sometimes. Like he's just at the right time.
His forced missed tackles are really good too. I think he was one of the top in the country for forced missed tackles. Like he's just running through dudes. So like I could totally see you like you sign him, all of a sudden it doesn't he gets open really fast, so the offensive line's a little bit less of a concern. I feel like Aaron Rodgers being back there makes the offensive line a little less of a concern already. So I feel like you're in like pretty good shape.
Yeah. So ideally we get Bowers. I honestly think we're almost fine at wide receiver. Like I know it's very controversial.
Really? That's interesting.
I know. Yeah, I even look at Lazar, and people are hating on Lazar, but you have to remember, like Lazar got paid because he played with Rodgers, and I don't think Rodgers is gonna let his friend like take all the blame if he's still there. Obviously,
sure.
Now that's like a big if,
but that's like Lazard stunk last year. Like you're cool rolling into the season with that.
I know, but like look at
nuts.
look at what Rodgers has played with. Like he made Lazar, he made Jordy Nelson, he made Randall Cobb.
But then it's even better reason to like get him a good receiver, and then he could like honestly, make them even better to like elevate it even higher.
Yeah,
I figure Garrett's gonna get 1,500 yards. We got to get someone that's gonna get like 700 yards. We can get a 700-yard receiver. That's what I want.
I know, like everybody's like, oh, get T Higgins and get like.
I don't know. I don't want to trade for T Higgins, and I don't want to give him the contract.
Well, exactly. We can't give him the contract because if we give him the contract, we are handcuffed. Like people don't realize like 2026 is coming in fast. And if we sign a wide receiver, I don't think a wide receiver right now, a star wide receiver, would take a 2 to 3 year contract with us just because they can play with Rodgers, right? They want at least a 4 to 5 years at like 25 mil now because of Ridley.
Dude. Some of the contracts that have been coming out, like Ridley got 23 million, and then even Mooney getting 13 million. Like receiver contracts are way more expensive. If you could get me a receiver at the top of the draft, whether it's Bowers or one of the wide receivers, I'd sign on for any of it. The appealing thing for Bowers for me is like he's a little bit of tackle, a little bit of wide receiver, all a bit of tight end, but then also like it creates another weapon at a different level of the offense, right? Like you got Bryce behind you, you got Garrett out wide. And now if you have another weapon at a different level of the field, it's interesting.
Yeah, trade down, get Bowers, get a tackle. Done.
That would be amazing. It's over. Anthony, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Jake is in the building. J-E-T-S. Let's go, Ryan. Build the wall, and Woody Johnson is paying for it. I love it. I love it, Jake. Dude, so here's my plan. I want to trade down. I get the feeling that J.J. McCarthy is going to go higher than we want, and I don't know if we're going to be able to trade down unless we go back to a team that like wants a Bowers to come up. But yeah, if you get the offensive line, wide receiver, I just want it all. I want it all. I think I want to trade down. I think I would like to get a tackle and then get a receiver in the second round. That would be really nice. But if you could sit at 10 and get 𝐿'Duhn, but I don't like the offensive lineman in the third round a lot. So I feel like I almost have to like take a tackle in the first round. Trade down's got to be the only option. It can't be the only option. But I really want to trade down. I want to trade down. Get me a second round pick. Jake, build the wall. Oh, Benjamin. I was going to go to you, but I'm going to go to you second because I got a special guest on the line. I got Mr. Jake Asman. Jake, how you doing, brother?
Hey,
we
let's
got
go,
a fucking
baby.
tackle.
Yes. We're building a wall, and Woody Johnson is paying for it.
I love it, dude. I thought for sure we were going to end up with Bakhtiari, and we wind up getting like the best friggin' tackle you can get. And what do you do from here? Like, do you want to get Mike Williams? Is that who we want to bring in on Monday?
Yeah, I would sign him, and I would be ecstatic. And I don't think that precludes them from still taking another weapon at 10 and maybe trading back and still doing that, trading up if one of these receivers start to fall. And still, they're in play for one of the linemen, too. Like, that's why I think it's so exciting. All of a sudden, like, as content creators, like, it was really tough to do anything other than just they're taking a tackle at 10, whoever the best one is. Now, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying they still maybe don't just stick and pick and to go tackle anyway, but the possibilities are endless, man. Like, I am giddy, man. I am so happy that I didn't think they would do it. Like, I thought it'd be Bakhtiari and a draft pick, as you said, and they literally signed a top 5, top 3 left tackle in the sport, and it's only $6.5 million guaranteed. That's insane. That's insane.
Nuts. Like now you have the option. I'm with you though. I want to trade down. If you can move down, if you can pick up a second round pick and get somewhere in like that 16 pick range or so, would you go offensive lineman or would you want to go with the tackle in the first? Because we still need depth. Like our guys are still a little bit older. Morgan Moses has the shoulder surgery he's coming back from, and Tyron Smith hasn't finished a season. So like, do we feel comfortable enough with Warren backing him up with AVT as the emergency tackle? Or do you think we have to like add more depth on the offensive line early?
Yeah, well, what if you signed Bakhtiari to a 1-year deal, and if Tyron Smith only got $6.5 million guaranteed, like Bakhtiari's getting what, 2.5, 3 with incentives? Like,
dude, imagine someone in my chat said it before, where they're like, "What if we have Bakhtiari play the grass games and Tyron Smith play the turf games?" And they just bounce back and forth like that because Tyron Smith's been playing on turf his entire career, and Bakhtiari's been on grass.
I like that. I mean, it really is still a possibility because, like, Bakhtiari can play, like, the Randall Cobb role where it's like he's basically just chilling with Rodgers as his best friend. And, like, maybe he needs to play. But if he's your swing, I'm in on that. And also, Troy Fontanu in a trade down. He could play guard and tackle. He's basically AVT all over again. You're covered if, God forbid, AVT gets hurt again. You're covered when Tyron Smith has to miss his 3 to 4 games every year. Look, if you could get Malik Neighbors, that's the one guy I'm in love with, so I'd be all in on moving up to get him. But if not, I think the Jets should trade back, get the second-round pick, still take another lineman, and then round 2, Roman Wilson could be there, Ladd McConkey could be there, Ricky Pearsall could be there. The Jets are in the driver's seat now, baby. I want to kiss Joe Douglas's beautiful bald head.
I love it, dude. I love the idea of going down, getting a Fatanu. Someone brought up JPJ would be interesting with the center guard flexibility. I like the idea of going the guard tackle though. Cooper Beebe in the second round's interesting. Left tackle, right tackle, left guard, right guard, like super positional flexibility. I really want a weapon at 10. If we can't trade down, I want a weapon at 10 in the worst way. Like I want something shiny. Would
you take Bowers? Are you pro Bowers?
I'm not anti-Bowers. I feel like I would, from the value perspective of like what you would have to pay a good tight end and what you would have to pay a good receiver, it's like a $12 million difference. So like that's a whole extra, another player that you could have at another position. So if they make the pick, I'm pumped on it because then you get a playmaker at wide receiver, playmaker and running back, playmaker, up the seam and in the flat there with Bowers. And they get open quick, so it kind of neutralizes the offensive line. So like I could be on it. It's risky. Like I think a top tight end, like a Kelce, a Laporta, Mark Andrews, Kittle, any of those guys, they would go in the top 10 if you knew what they would become. So if Bowers becomes like one of those, totally worth it.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I was like not on board with Bowers, but that was before they got this offensive line figured out with Smith and Morgan Moses, of course. I'll say if they take him, I'm not going to sit there and say how dare they do it. It's at least like feasible now. My preference though, could you move back a couple spots and still take them, right? Because you got a couple teams behind you that probably need quarterbacks. Can you, even if you move back 1 or 2 spots and get an extra third, that to me is valuable. You take Bowers, you can then package. You still have your 2 forts. And you still obviously have then in this scenario 2/3. Can you put together a package to get back into round 2 to get one of these stud receivers? Because I think if the Jets want to get some of those receivers we mentioned, they're going to have to come up with a second-round pick. So you can end up with Bowers, still take a second-round receiver, and then you could address offensive line in the 3rd, 4th round, and hopefully find a developmental guy that maybe could start for you in a pinch.
Yeah, give me like a Zach Zinter who might fall a little bit with a broken leg, or like, any of these guys in the mid rounds. Drawing a complete blank on offensive linemen right now, but I love the receivers. I think you're right. Second round pick is what you have to get. So whether it's trading down or moving back up, like I would be open to the idea of giving up like our third round pick, a fourth, and a pick next year to get up into the second round. Like I feel like it's important enough to get into the second round where I'm okay missing on a player in the third. And then interior offensive line would be nice. I'd like, if we can get a pick in first, second, third round, I would go like in some combination, tackle, wide receiver, interior offensive lineman. I think would be my three preferred positions in those in that top three rounds.
Oh, I'd be giddy. I mean, dude, if they come away with Mike Williams on Monday, by the way, and just what an offseason. What an offseason.
And Jadeveon, Jadeveon come in. It's like, holy hell. Like, what are we gonna do? I'm pumped. Dude, Jadeveon's coming off a great season, 9.5 sacks, like plays the run well, would be an absolute home run addition to the defensive line. And I'm loving everything we're doing so far. We're hitting all the right pieces. Who would have thought Morgan Moses for $5.5 million was an option?
Man, I can't wait to see what the cap hit is on Tyron Smith, because I mean we're probably talking about the Jets' 2 starting left-right tackle as being less than $20 million in cap hits.
Insane.
Less.
That's insane. Jonah Williams just got $15 million a year.
Nuts.
Looney Tunes.
I mean, that's why, like, when they made the Moses trade, I started to feel really optimistic because no one had that on the bingo board. It wasn't even like suggested as like a possibility. So I like that. Maybe some of the leaks are out of the building with some of the changes they made in the front office and changes they made on the coaching staff. And I'm very encouraged, man. I mean, Simpson's better than Tomlinson. You upgrade at left guard. You keep AVT at his best position now at guard. He could be an all-pro there. You have Moses, who we know as Jet fans is really solid, and Tyron Smith's a top 5, top 3 tackle in the league, man. So, I mean, I don't know how any Jet fan could be upset. I mean, you should be giddy tonight. I mean, I was just live for 3 hours. I saw you were on. I'm like, I'm not done talking about this. I'm so excited.
I got way too much energy. For this friggin' thing right now. Blitz Crew hops in. He says, oh, no, where's my comment? Hold on. Let me pull up my comments here. Blitz Crew, bam, says, all in for this year in free agency. Draft needs future focus. Love Fatanu if available in a trade down. Never thought we would get 3 offensive line starters. No, I'm loving the 3 offensive line starters. I'm shocked we were able to get. I thought we were going to have to draft someone in the first round. Now you have the luxury of not taking one if you don't want to take one. Getting someone with positional flexibility, though, I think is real big, as you mentioned, Jake.
Completely agree. I mean, Fontano is like, he's like exactly what they need. They need someone to back up AVT and back up Tyron Smith, and like maybe he ends up having to play. He probably will, but like he doesn't need to play right away. Like Tippmann didn't have to start right away because you had McGovern. You eased him in. To me, it'd be perfect if you could trade back and get a second and then take Troy Fontano. I mean that I would be. I mean, look, I'm going to need to see a doctor because something's going to be,
it will last longer than 4 hours.
Yeah, we're talking like 72 hours of like, I'm going to need like medical help. I'll leave it at that.
Oh my God, dude. So what do you think the move is? I guess like if you get Mike Williams, are you confident enough in receiver? I don't know. Like, is there a profile receiver you want to go for? Like, is Odell coming in? I don't know.
I would still be interested in Boyd because he's a true slot, and then Williams is a true like X or Y on the outside. Like, I'd be cool with that. And that doesn't like people are like, well, what about Gibson and Brownlee? With all due respect to both guys, like they're not locks to make the team. We're trying to win the Super Bowl here. Like, I can't worry about developing a wide receiver 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 on a good team. Like, so yeah, I mean, look, if OBJ took a cheap incentive laden deal, maybe. But I would go after Williams. I'd go after Boyd. And honestly, I'm still on board with bringing Corey Davis back on a 1-year prove-it deal, too. I'd be fine with that.
I would love Corey Davis. If you can give me Corey Davis, I would almost prefer that to like Mike Williams, and then I would still draft a receiver high. Because I don't know. I feel like we're stuck with Lazard this year. Like, I don't think they're going to move off of him. I don't think they're going to cut him. And then you just hope you get more out of him because Rodgers is back. But I feel like Brees is getting like fucking 2,500 yards this year. It's going to be Looney Tunes.
Dude, the Jets legitimately have 2 players on offense that could win Offensive Player of the Year if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall might have legitimately, as you said, like over 2,000 scrimmage yards. It's going to be insane.
It's crazy. I put $5 down on Brees to win offensive player of the year. I only had 5 in my draft. I put it last week, not last week, after we signed Morgan Moses. I was like, he's going to run right-hand side with AVT. He's just going to have a ton of yards. Now I feel even better about it because the odds are probably like shifting as we speak. But I only had $5 in my DraftKings account. So I
love it.
I was like, I'll put that in.
That's tremendous. That's great. I got to do that too, man. I had a Garrett Wilson Offensive Player of the Year ticket that I ripped up right after week 1. So that was not fun.
Dude, I had Jets Super Bowl. I put $100 on Jets Super Bowl. I was like, it's going to happen. It was before we had Rodgers, so I had amazing odds. And then, fucking went to shit real quick.
Yep.
Not fun. I am exhausted. I am so tired. Dude, we woke up.
Cheers to you, Ryan. Anything is possible.
I got my little 50 milligram seltzer. Fucking, dude, we got to friggin' tackle. Hawk says, look at Bowers. Testosterone male pattern balding, LOL. Bro been on the juice for a minute. Dude, Brock Bowers is stupid fast. Watching him run is like just a different kind of home run threat. The way the Jets wanted Gibbs last year and wanted Michael Mayer, I feel like they want that kind of like special home run threat. And Bowers to me feels like the home run threat.
Well, he's so good over the middle, and that's where Rodgers loves to like attack the middle of the field. You know, like on seam routes up the middle. I mean, like I could see it. I think best case scenario is you could still move back a little bit and take him, which I think is possible. Because like if the Jets don't take him at 10, where's Brock Bowers realistically going? He's not going. I don't think he's going in the first 9 picks.
No, I don't think he's going in the first 9, and I think he could fall down to 16, 17, 18, somewhere back there. I think do you think the Bengals might want to come up for him? Would they like move up to 10 to try and get a Bowers? They may not have to move all the way up to 10 to get Bowers, I guess. What team would want to come up? Do you think JJ is going to go higher? Because I feel like once 4 quarterbacks go, our pick is not super valuable to trade back anymore.
I wonder, could we benefit from the fact that maybe a team that needs a defensive player, there's going to be some good defensive players that get pushed back. Someone wants to come up to get the first corner off the board. Maybe like the second best pass rusher, if we assume Atlanta takes like Dallas Turner, let's say at 8.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you could do it. But I'm kind of with you though. I see 4 quarterbacks going within the first 6 because I do buy the Giants taking QB at 6 if McCarthy makes it there.
Yeah, I think so. I'm torn on who's trading up. I feel like it's got to be the Vikings because of the 2 first-round picks. It just feels like they're jockeying the same way the Bills jockeyed to get up with Josh Allen. And if they're coming up, that means they're either getting into the top 3 and JJ could slip down to like a 4, 5, 6, or they're going to have to get to 4 or 5 because I don't think the Giants, like you said, I think the Giants could go quarterback, so they have to get in front of them. And then for the Broncos and Raiders, if they wanted to get a quarterback, they're going to have to get in front of the Chargers because the division rival's not letting them get their franchise quarterback at number 5. So it's interesting to see how high a quarterback could go. Like we might see quarterback go 1, 2, 3, 4, and Marvin Harrison Jr. end up going 5 to the Chargers. Like I could see that happen too.
Man. Well, one thing is for sure, the Chargers, they feel like a lock to go receiver who's ever there. Like okay, so let me give you my dream scenario based on that scenario you just outlined. Quarterbacks 1, 2, 3, 4. Chargers take Harrison at 5. If I'm the Jets, trade up and get Malik Neighbors. Do it.
You think the Giants would trade down? And you just like.
Well, if the quarterbacks are gone, I mean, how would the Giants feel about like moving back, getting some picks? Because they're not all in like the Jets seemingly are.
Yeah, they might want to load up on some talent around, Daniel Jones and stuff. Because if the quarterbacks are gone, I feel like Neighbors would be the pick. Now that they don't have the 2 seconds, maybe they'd be more likely to trade down with the acquisition of Burns.
Because like if the Giants can't get McCarthy, if we assume he's like the guy they like, I wonder if they
I like Penix at the back of the 1.
Picks. Yeah, trade back into the first round. Penix at the end of round 1 maybe is an option for them.
Yeah, I think that would be the play. I like Penix at the back of round 1 for a lot of teams. I saw Field Yates had Bo Nix going 12 to the Broncos. That's insane to me. I feel like Bo Nix should not be going in the first round of the NFL draft, at least not that early. I don't know. Joe M says, is there any good hidden gems in the 2nd or 3rd round that might be good wide receiver 2, lots of wide receivers. I wouldn't even call them hidden gems because those are still like studly players. 𝐒𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐻𝐿egette is a very popular name for a lot of Jet fans. I think that's going to be a really good one to watch in the second round. Third round, probably like a Brendan Rice. Bunch of good players. Green Bean really likes Malik Washington in like the fourth round out of Virginia. That would be a really
That's
cool
his guy,
pick.
man. I heard you guys the other night. I was
him.
listening. Loves that
Dude,
man.
he plays so much bigger. When I watched his highlights first, and I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. And then I like looked up his stats and like his size metrics and everything, and he's like 5'9". I was like, holy hell, this guy's a mighty might. Like I would love this dude in the slot. I'd be pumped on him in the fourth round. Is there any players you like?
Yeah, like I would. All those guys you mentioned, I'm in on. Ricky Purcell's my guy. I wanted him at 72, but there's no way he's going to be there. He's too good.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a second round pick. There's so many really good receivers in the second round. That's where I want to get to. If we can get to that, I think we're feeling good. Blitz Crew comes and says, week ago, 2 starters on the offensive line, now 5, so happy. I'm shocked we didn't have to use 10 to get a starter. And with amazed. Morgan Moses only, the thing I love about Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith, it kind of gives you a little bit of, maybe not confidence, but like the players behind them with Warren and Mitchell, it gives them an idea that like, hey, we still want to develop you because we're not committing to younger players at the positions in front of you. And maybe that's encouraging from that perspective. Now, I still think you have to upgrade tackle because I think Mitchell's probably the guy that's going to get bumped out. But I like Warren. I like Warren as a backup. And then like if AVT is the break glass in case of emergency tackle, then, so be it. Bring back McGovern, and now you have a center guard hybrid with him and Tittman.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's big that Warren gets to learn from a future Hall of Famer now and Tyron Smith and a pro and Morgan Moses. I think it's a great point. I mean, the Jets went from having one of the worst offensive lines in the league to like really. And look, health's obviously the biggest thing. We know that as Jet fans, but at least on paper, it's one of the better lines in football. It's unbelievable how quickly this changed.
Dude, it flipped so fast. And now I feel like there's some kind of momentum. So now you go into negotiations with a Mike Williams on Monday and you say, hey, look, we're going for did my camera just die? Jesus.
Are you with Aaron in a darkness retreat?
What just happened? Oh, did I turn off my... Hold on, let me get it. I've got another camera here. We'll do this one.
I love it.
Where is it? USB live cam. We'll use this. We go. So I set up a smart switch for my camera where it turns on and off based on like a command. So like I can just, it's on. And it was my old Christmas tree light one, and it turns off at 1 o'clock in the morning over here. So my Christmas light, so because I'm using the Christmas tree light plug, I never changed it for the off setting, and that's where it came from. Wow,
that's tremendous, man. Dude, how long have you been live? Because I was trying to I went live like pretty quick. I know Boy Green did a show. I saw Richie was on.
Dude, I did not see it for like the first 30, 40 minutes. Becca and I are sitting doing our taxes, and I was like, okay, everything's away. We're focusing on taxes. And like, I'm just not paying attention at all. And I see I have like 50 text messages. I was like, something happened. I was like, oh my God, Becca. Yeah. I was like, I got to stop the taxes. I was like, I got to go live. I was like, I'm pumped right now. So I'm looking at it. I'm at 2:52 right now. I think I'm going to cut it off at 3 because it's 1 in the morning here. And I'm like, I'm hitting a little bit of a wall.
I do.
I've been up all day with the kids.
I'm about to go and like get some celebratory Taco Bell. I was supposed to go to the Houston Rodeo tonight. I had tickets to the Jonas Brothers with my friends, and I was like, I texted him. I go, I had my cowboy hat on and my boots. I was about to leave the apartment, and I'm like, well, this is not happening now.
No, this is far too exciting. Getting the tackle, feeling like everything's opened up, like going into the negotiations with Mike Williams and saying, hey, this is the price we want you for. This is what we want to do. I feel like the leverage for the New York Jets is just on another level now.
100%. I mean, they legitimately could say, they could say to Mike Williams, we think you're the missing piece to our championship offense. Like, we have the O-line solidified. We have Aaron Rodgers. We're covered, and God forbid if he has to miss some games with Tyrod. I mean, they could sell Mike Williams, hey, you're the missing piece to complement our superstar receiver. You just did that in L.A. with Keenan. Like we're going for it. Like you're the missing piece to win a championship, and I think the Jets could get him. I wouldn't be surprised. Like he's meeting with the Panthers. I saw Tuesday, and the Jets Monday. If you love him, don't let him leave the building on Monday. He's choosing you over the Panthers if the money's close.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can make it like, or even just tell them like, hey, you're going to make so much more next year on a long-term contract. If you sign a 1-year prove it deal with us here to go win a ring, you got a shot at a Super Bowl. You go to Carolina, you're not winning a Super Bowl. You're going down there, you better hope you get a good contract from them because you might have a shit situation with the quarterback. So I feel like he might be able to like have that prove it deal here and have that little bit of leverage with, you're the missing piece. I love the way you put that.
Oh man, if we get back-to-back days next week of Mike Williams and +𝐂𝐴𝐷𝐿 Clowney, like I can't even imagine this. Like it's just this fan base was so down in the dumps, and just seeing in the last 48 hours the way it's done a complete 180. It's like last year again right now with the vibes. It's amazing.
Oh man, it sucked because like for so long from the end of the season till probably the Morgan Moses signing, it felt like there was a big fucking wet blanket over the Jet fan base, and everyone was sour. All the negative stories are coming out. They're getting ripped apart in the Athletic, and then all of a sudden, Morgan Moses out of nowhere. It's like, holy shit, Joe Douglas did a thing for a 6th-round pick. Wow, this is amazing. And then friggin' Tyron Smith. Oh, then +𝐂𝐴𝐷𝐿 Clowney and Mike Williams coming in the building next week. I'm just there's too much energy, and I get I don't have any in my fridge. I got a whole stack of.
I got to text Ed. I need to fire him at Ed Lager.
I got my little gummies.
I love that.
Crescent Canna. Link in the description down below. Blitz Crew comes in and says, any AFC East defensive linemen get better for our rivals? Any AFC East defensive linemen get better for our defensive rivals? Maybe, I don't know. Probably, would you say Miami got better with Shaq Barrett instead of Christian Wilkins? Or is Wilkins the better player?
I mean, Wilkins, like he got paid more than like Quinnen got paid. So like, I would say they got worse if it's a 1-for-1 just based on the contracts. I mean, Barrett's a decent rusher, but like he's a specialist. Like Wilkins is a 3-down player.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I mean, maybe New England's got the money to get better. I don't know what they've added though.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anyone else's team in our division.
I think the division got worse, Ryan, and the Jets. The Jets just did nothing besides Aaron's healthy. They're better, but I think they have like if you say which team has improved the most in the AFC East, like it's clearly the Jets. I don't think anyone can argue that.
No, yeah, just getting Aaron back alone is a huge like leap up in production. If he plays to a top 15 level like quarterback production, we're cooking with fire. And now having just an offensive line. The Bills shed a ton of contracts. The Dolphins shed a ton of contracts. I wish we did get Poyer for $2 million, though. That would have been nice. Miami got him.
I'm surprised they weren't even in on him because like him and Rodgers are tight.
That's wild. Insane that we weren't in on it. Davis and Williams outside. Garrett in the slot. Scary. Could you see a situation where we get Corey Davis and Mike Williams?
I would love it. I saw like Rosenblatt of the Athletic be like, well, if they have Lazard, there's not really a fit for Corey Davis. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Corey Davis is good. Alan Lazard's not. I'm not making any decision based on Alan Lazard because he's on the team. Like he quit on the Jets last year. He was a healthy and active because he just gave up on plays on film. You can watch it. Alan Lazard should have no impact on how they evaluate how they're adding to the receiver room. If you tell me their 3 receivers are Mike Williams and Corey Davis on the outside, and Garrett Wilson gets to dominate in the slot like Cooper Kupp does in LA, I would be giddy. That'd be electric. I'd be on board.
Free releases all the time for Garrett Wilson. It would be unreal. It'd be unreal. I really like Corey Davis. I love his blocking.
Yeah, dude. Garrett Wilson would have 10 touchdowns and 1,500 receiving yards, and those were the weapons he had to play with.
Roz says, eat the whole bag for Jets health. I'm not eating that entire bag. I'll be on my ass. I'm 50 milligrams deep. I'm feeling good. I'm on autopilot right now in the cockpit. Cruising. All right. I am hitting the 3-hour mark and my ass is exhausted. It is 1 o'clock over here. Jake, I am so happy you hopped on and came in to talk. And if you guys don't know, Jake and I hang out every Thursday, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock with Richie and O'Leary over on the AFC East Roundtable channel. Jets Roundtable. Check it out. Jake, you want to say anything before I'll eject you? I got to eject you.
Oh, I'm so excited about being ejected, but I will say this. All right. Joe Douglas, you are a handsome, beautiful, bald son of a gun, and I'll kiss you on your head if this offseason continues.
I love it. Jake, you've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls. Oh, boy. See, I don't even have my camera up anymore because I switched cameras on me. I switched cameras. Can I switch it back? Let's see if I can do it fast. I'm here. All right. Boys and girls. It's 1:07 in the morning. My wife's going to kill me. I got to go to sleep. This was a lot of fun. Jets got Tyron Smith. I'm feeling pretty good. All right, boys. Jets talk. Signing off.